Hey, everybody, this is the poker coaching study session. We are going to be studying cash games. Specifically, we're going to look at under the gun, the low jack. So under the gun, six-handed. Low jack versus big blind. We're going to look at ag reports. We're going to drill it. And then we're going to do some martans. And maybe those martans will have low jack versus button. I said button. Low jack versus big blind. All right. Take it away, Larry.
All right. Hey guys. Hello YouTube. Okay, let me share. Maybe that's a good start. All right. So, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, maybe we'll start with some aggregate reports for the spot, then drill it. So, this is UTG open, low jack UTG, whatever fits your fancy, and big blind flats here. Then we get a check for big blind. He's going to obviously check the majority of his range.
Your internet connection just went. Your internet connection just went funky, Larry. Right?
Such a mess.
All right.
I hear you.
Okay, try again, Larry. Talk again. See if you
Yeah.
can.
Larry?
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
It's
You-
coming
Yeah,
back.
now-
Can you guys hear
now-
me?
Yeah, now we can. But it was like muted for the past about 30 seconds.
Sorry about that, guys. My internet actually just went out for
Yep.
10 seconds.
Yep, you're
Sorry,
good.
YouTube. Please, continue to watch. Okay. So this is the aggregate report. I find these pretty overwhelming, but maybe there's a couple ways we can look at it to kind of break it down a little bit. The first thing, if you just look at this report, which is just across non-sorted flops, just what's sorted by the flop starting with tripled aces. And we very quickly, if you look at it, we can see that king high boards are really good for us, as are double Broadway ace high boards. But we've looked at this before in this configuration. I thought maybe a more interesting way to look at this is to change the view from strategy. Because right now we're looking at strategy. What boards we bet, how often we bet, and at what size. And change it to equity. So now instead of the display showing our strategy, we're just showing our pure equity on these different flops. First thing, obviously, is that if we look at it with the flops sorted by flop type, we could see that these Broadway boards and king high boards at the top are going to have the highest equity. Obviously, green is good, red is bad. But we can also sort it by equity, which I think is just a different perspective. I don't know if it's very interesting, but it's a different perspective. So now we're sorting by equity. Now, what boards by equity are the best? And just to look at the extremes real quick. The best we can do is 70%. Like these boards are 60, 68, above 60%, which we usually don't see on flop. Obviously, we usually just don't see that kind of equity disparity till turn, and even that's kind of rare. Now let's just skip ahead and see what boards are the worst. And as we suspected, these boards that have, to you guys, when you look at these boards, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
2 pairs straight.
Yeah.
Very middling. Yeah, yeah, middling.
Middling and connected.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
a flush or a flush draw.
Two-tone,
No rainbow that bad.
lots of draws.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. When I look at these, I'm thinking these are boards where there are locked up equity. There are mostly just flop straights. There are some mono boards in here, but mostly they're just flop straights. And the only person with a straight in this configuration is going to be the big blind.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are boards where there's a massive nut advantage that goes to out of position. And if we were to actually on the fly here. Let's change this. Well, let's change this real quick. To big blind. See what this does. I'm freewheeling here. So now we're looking at big blind. Looking at the best equity boards. Pam, obviously it's going to be the same thing. But then let's change this to strategy.
That's gonna be the left side, I think.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I needed.
It'd be Donk City.
And this is Dunk City. Yeah.
Right.
So this equity correlates obviously to his dunk. So anyway, let's go back to where we were before.
He donks
Yeah.
range on 7-6-5 rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put this back on equity. So now we're sorted by imposition equity. And we see which boards are the best for us. Now, how does this correlate to our strategy, right? So how does this correlate to imposition strategy? How often are we betting on these boards that are really, really good for us?
How about range?
Yeah, well, let's see. So strategy, ETG,
No,
and there is an exception here, and that's
Yeah.
the flop flushes.
Huh.
And I think that's being driven by the fact that
They're call big blind is calling with a lot of their suited and not their offsuit.
yeah, big blind is
Yeah.
defending a lot of suited combos.
And you'll notice this range up
Hmm.
here has the high, you know, the ace, the kings, the queens that we would have raised. You know, they're blocking our range.
Our flushes.
Right. We're not going to have
Right.
Yeah.
many 9-8, and you know those flushes are going to be. We're not going to have these flushes.
right. So when we start getting to the king highs, we're gonna,
Yeah.
I bet those flushes will pop up. We just slide
Yeah.
down.
Point.
Yeah,
Well,
we don't have as much
That's
equity,
a-
but they're the flushes we have.
Yeah, well, that's a good. Let's dive into that. Oh,
So go to the pure monotone boards for a second. Let's just
can you hear me?
You cut out for a second, but filter
yeah.
by monotone, and then we'll slide down. And I bet once we get to the sort of queen high board, the king high board somewhat, but the queen high board a lot, that's where we own all the flushes.
Okay.
Because that's where we can have the ace high and the king high flush.
So these are just monotone boards, sorted by imposition equity, with our strategy. So yeah, we just on monotone boards on principle, we just don't, we never bet big.
Yep.
Is the first thing. And then, do you want to sort these by flops so you can look at king high boards?
First just taking a look. Right now we're looking, we're
Let's sort them by
at-
flops. We can
sorted
look at
by
high
flops, or
boards.
we're sorted by flops or
There we
equity.
are.
No, we're sorted by equity now.
There's flops. There's flops.
Or just pure flops. Okay.
So we're sorted by flops now.
Yeah.
So we could see that, yeah, we do bet a little bit more on king high boards,
Mhm.
but not that much.
Right.
Definitely don't bet a lot on these ace high boards, on these ace high monotone boards.
Yeah.
And then even, I think ultimately, if we
Because
look
now-
at these, often big blind's gonna have more flushes,
Mhm.
but they're not gonna be as strong as ours.
Yeah.
Cause they have like the 8-9 suited, 7-6 suited, 6-5. They have the suited gappers, right? They have like 6-4. So yeah, this is kind of just an interesting way to look at it. Let's look at, so now we're looking at flops. I'll go back to sorting by imposition equity. So this is so impositions equity here. And then let's change the view to equity. So we know what the best boards are, right? So these ace, king, 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 where we have flop trips. And let's float down. More.
You're cutting out again, but
See if anything interesting develops.
Yep.
You know, not surprising. Ace, king, ace, king, ace, king. As my internet is not happy today.
Yeah.
For some reason, it just started. But every 2 minutes, I'm getting about 10 seconds of dropout. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Now we can hear you again.
yeah, yes.
A bit frustrating. My apologies, guys.
They switched you to 56K.
Yeah, exactly. I have to get a new modem. So just let me know when I
You're good now.
drop out.
And now you're
So
back.
yeah, so it looks like I'm surprised these ace boards are not as good for us. I would imagine it's because he's got aces that he defends. We'll probably have a kicker advantage here though. Um, so, again, maybe does it make sense? Can you guys hear me right now, by the way?
Now we
Yeah,
can. We
it's
couldn't a
just
second.
intermittent.
You
Yeah.
guys can't hear me? God,
Now we
damn.
can.
Jeez,
But you can't hear us. So there you go.
incredibly frustrating. Hold on,
Yeah.
let me see if there's something else that's using all my bandwidth. I'm not running anything. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. I'm not really using any bandwidth. It's just really unfortunate.
I blame Biden.
Unfortunate timing. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep. We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just, again, so this is sorted by imposition equity. Instead of just looking at equity, let's look at strategy again and see how much it correlates to bet frequency. So, I mean, we could see a pretty easy, obvious descend as we move down. The other thing that's interesting, maybe we could figure out, so if this, so we've got lots of big bets up here. When we get down here to where we have low equity, maybe an interesting part to me is that if we just skip through this, like on these boards, we don't bet often. We bet, you know, it looks like 40% of the time, check 60. But when we do bet, oftentimes these boards, we're betting big, right?
Right.
So this is a very common heuristic we see, where when we check a lot and we do bet low frequency, we're betting big. And all these boards, you know, there's going to be a little bit, especially like 987. Well, 982 is a good example, 962. This might be driven by equity denial, right? Where big blind has more flop straight draws, OESDs. And so we use big bets.
And the exception is for these, when we get to these lower equity boards, we don't bet big when there's locked up equity. So
Yeah.
if the straight is already available, we don't like it for a big bet. If the straight is possible to come in, yeah, if, as you said, if it's a straight draw board, we want to bet big, but also we're betting stronger hands. The fewer hands we bet, the stronger they are. So we can bet bigger.
Let's pick one and just look at it just out of curiosity. So like 952 is an interesting one, right? Well,
Yeah.
it's so disconnected. It doesn't really go to 964 is an interesting one where we're going to have a lot of big bets. So let's just
Yeah.
look at this real quick. So he checks on us on 964. big bets and that's it. So our big bets are coming across. They're going across our entire range, right? Down from.
Yeah.
Jack 10 with essentially no equity. All the way up to these are gonna be sets. And then, as normal, we have this weird kind of in the middle, we have this middling range,
Mhm.
median equity, where we just don't do anything, or we just check back. But yeah, I mean, I don't fully understand this heuristic. Maybe one of you guys do, where, when we are checking often, and then if we do bet, we have big bets. And how this is a strategy we commonly see on these kind of boards where we know now, looking sorting by equity, we know that we have very low equity in these boards. But when we go up to where we have, a lot of equity, range versus range, we do have big bets too, but oftentimes we're betting, often and small.
Right.
Now, why that heuristic exists, I don't know. Maybe one of you guys have some ideas. Anybody
So-
have any theories?
Yeah, I was gonna just kind of talk it through myself. These boards up here that we're looking at now, we have a considerable range advantage and a considerable nut advantage. Whereas those other boards, the 9-6-4 board kind of things, those middling, we no longer have a significant nut advantage. Right? But so when we do bet, and we're going to check frequently on those boards, but when we do bet, we're going to construct our range using combos that are going to be in our high equity range or high equity draws, right? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And so, it does. And so, on those boards where we don't have a lot of equity, we don't have the nut advantage, like those ones at the other end of this scale. I wonder if we're driven to incentivize equity denial. And hence we take. I almost feel like on these boards a lot of times down here on this low equity, we're kind of playing this nuts or nothing game.
Right.
We check a lot, and then if we do bet, we're betting big.
Yeah, that's a good way to kind of a short way of saying what I was trying to say. Yeah.
And then if you look at
And-
the top end, oh, go on.
No, please.
If you look at the top end of the equity, we have these boards that we bet a lot. But if you want to know where we're betting the big and when we're betting small, is if the equity is locked up, if the straight is already there, and now I'm looking a lot of times where it's a Broadway straight. So we are all over it. We have two pair a lot. We have the straight a lot. But if the straight is there already, we almost always bet small. If if there are straight draws, so an ace, king, 7, then we've got our big bets. If it's two-tone, we like the big bet. I think we like the big bet more if it's two-tone than if it's rainbow, I think.
Well, let's look at your
Here at the
first
top.
three, right? Let's make it rainbow and connected.
Yeah.
So now we're rainbow connected, and we're still sorted by equity.
Right.
So let's look at what we're doing on these boards. So obviously this is a much smaller group. So rainbow connected. So first thing is, these are all the boards where we flop a straight.
Yeah.
As the imposition range.
Right.
And we do have a lot of small bets, unless you have this, these kind of unicorn flops, which is just perfect for us.
Yeah.
And then once we get beyond these, we end up checking a lot. We end up doing a lot of checks when all of a sudden it becomes
Right.
kind of a toss up as to.
And on that unicorn board there, we're betting big.
Right.
Yeah. On the top end where we bet big, it was where we had the queen jack, and we've got queen jack offsuit. He doesn't have queen jack offsuit, and he 3-bets a lot, some of his queen jack suited. So he's just not in this node. So his queen jack is really light in this node. That's that unicorn there, I think.
Yeah,
Same with ace jack. Oh no, ace jack, we bet small.
and this is another unicorn board, because we're the only one with ace. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the perfect example of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But very quickly, when that step goes down, we're into, betting a lot, betting small.
Yeah, very quickly it becomes, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, very quickly it becomes we're playing defensive, which, excuse me. Obviously the solver does a lot. This is the unicorn board, right? This is like the special board. This is
Yeah.
like the reverse of 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Where we're the special one because we've got all the ice cream and ain't got no ice cream.
Yeah.
Because we're the only one with the Broadway.
Yeah, ace king.
So if you look at this board, yeah, so we just range bet this. And then if you look at if you look here, ranges. Yeah, we just dominate. And we just have all straights.
Right.
He doesn't have. So
I want to take a look at one more thing here before we go
Sure.
to the show. Mike says, on non-ace or king flops, I don't
Well,
think.
yeah, and this was a response to Caleb's question. I was just trying to figure that out myself.
I didn't see the question. Should we look at the question?
Yeah, look at Caleb's question.
What
In
was the
chat.
conclusion on the monotone flops that didn't have ace and king? Seemed our equity to go. It was kind of but did not go up.
That
as
one,
much
that
as
question. No, it did. It was a little better. We could bet more of them, but not a ton more. I think that's what we saw, was that we were comparing on monotone flops where there's an ace and a king. We don't have large bets, but I thought our frequency went up on the king high and the queen high compared to the ace high monotone boards. Did we see that? Let's see if that's really what happened.
Yeah, we were thinking that once we
So we wanna
got
look at-
rid of the ace or king high board, that maybe our equity would go up like a little bit more considerably because we're raising aces and kings a lot more often than they would have calling the big blind.
Right. But we also have one of the things is when there is an ace or a king high monotone board, we don't have the flushes often, but we have the ace and king. We do have top pairs. So that balances it out a little bit. That's how I'm hedging. And Larry's been eaten by bears.
I think you're
Very
right, is a monotone board. But now this is a monotone board sorted by imposition equity.
Yeah.
So these are, damn it.
So we still have we have more equity in the ace.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Guys, I'm gonna take a minute and I'm just gonna move to a different part of the house. That might help. Really
Gotcha.
sorry about this. I'll be back in 2 minutes, but you guys can see the
Do one thing, Larry, before you go. Sort
Yeah.
this board not by equity, sort this board by bet frequency.
Okay, so then we're gonna change it to strategy, and then we're gonna sort it by what size do you want? You gotta use a size.
The overall bets. So is there a way to do
Well,
it?
33 is our most common. So
Okay.
these,
Yeah,
and
that's
then we're gonna flip these.
Yeah.
There we go. So this is
Right.
this is it.
Yeah.
I'll be back
so-
in 2 minutes. I'm just gonna go to. a
Right,
different
so
part
there
of
we
the house.
go. We bet on the monotone boards. We don't bet the ace high ones the most. So that's what we're seeing here is you get the extra equity of having a pair, but that pair is marginally made. You know, we can't slide the view down until Larry gets back, but there isn't an ace on this first screen at all.
Aren't they defending with some of their ace X suited?
They are, but as percentage of range, we have more of it. We raise
Yeah.
we raise every suited ace we have. We raise kings starting at 5, and we raise queens starting at 10, 9, something like that. Low jack is gonna be king 5, queen. Yeah, queen. I don't think we've even raised the queen 9 in the low jack.
Oh, I just noticed this is a six-handed.
Yeah, we're playing 6-handed. We're looking at the
Mm.
the world of 6-handed.
Yeah, and I surmise that the big blind is still going to have just about as many nut ace or king high flushes that we're going to have, maybe even more. And they're still going to have a lot more of the lower end flushes. So
Right.
our nut flushes are relatively the same, our high, big flushes, whereas they're going to have more lower end flushes.
Mm-hmm. And do you want Mike, do you have a hand that is low jack versus big blind loaded up yet?
Yeah, I've marked a few.
All right, let's jump to that while Larry relocates. So I'm gonna steal the screen sharing back and then close it down. Here we go. Share. We're uploading yesterday's, and now I will stop sharing. And now you can share.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Larry's back in time. And your screen and your sound quality is still terrible.
My
Larry's
sound
got,
quality is terrible.
oh, now you're back. All right, let's give it a try.
Do you want me to try again?
Yeah. All right, steal the
Sorry,
screen back.
guys. Okay, so, we were talking about monotone boards before I made a Hail Mary to improve the internet.
Mhm.
Um,
So slide that window down now. Let's see how long before we get to an ace high board.
okay, so this is, let me just reorient. So we're sorted by bet frequency, right?
Yep.
Okay. Sort of by
Oh, even better. Larry, do a slightly different sort.
frequency,
Larry, do a slightly different sort.
monotone
Sort
board.
on,
We're
sort
looking for
on,
ace high.
sort on check frequency, and then we'll reverse it. Because this is giving us sorted on small bet. And so it's a little bit, we got a little bit of the bumps. So let's go completely smooth. Sort by our check frequency, and then we'll go from lowest to highest.
Do you
There
see
we go.
that?
Yeah, now it's
First question, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
And yeah, so it's sorted by, good idea, sorted by check frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so these are the boards we're betting the most.
Right. So go to the next window of it. Slide the window over. Keep going. Look at this. We have not seen an ace yet. There you go. That's where the aces start.
So yeah, so we're not, let's see what the worst is just because we're looking at this. So yeah, these ace high boards are where we
Ace little.
check the most on a monotone board.
Yep. He's got straights that we don't. He
See
also
all the
has,
ace highs down here. And then
he's got
again, we see this weird,
yeah, we bet big. Our percent of big bets is up higher as our percent of bets goes down. But we've
What
done
is
the,
our hand?
we've done the simplification of that. We're not doing any big bets on these monotone boards at all, right? We're just simplifying it.
Yeah, I think that's simplification makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That we just cut out big bets.
Yeah.
I mean, our big bets are, 5%. I mean, if we want to look and see what boards. And by big, I mean 50%, right?
Yeah.
It's just really. If I can flip it. Do it once. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't think, it doesn't make much sense to incorporate this. So. What else should we look on at? Should we look at, see, undergun ops? Look at what high cards are best for us. Oh, let's clear all this. So,
What cards do we have?
okay, well, so this is an aggregate report, Derek. So this is it looking at all the boards, right? And it doesn't matter what cards we have. We're just looking at range theory. Essentially, looking at aggregate report is looking at theory of range versus range without any regard to what cards you have.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a couple other ways we can look at this, right? So we can see that, this is our betting frequencies. And instead of looking at the whole, all the flops, we could just go, okay, all the rainbows, all the flush draws, all the monotone. And we could just kind of reconfirm what we were seeing is that we bet the most on rainbow boards. And then we look at high cards. This is sorted by what high card we bet the most on. So on a tripled board, we can almost ignore that. This is like triple two board. We're always betting, right? Because we've got the overpair advantage. King high board, we're betting the most. I think that's pretty common heuristic. Queen high board, and this is kind of another tripled board, so we could ignore it. Ace high boards. I think the thing to take away from this is that over all flops, we're betting the most on king high boards and queen high boards. So if you're going to simplify, if you're going to take away one heuristic, it's that when you're in position, I would argue even over across more configurations than just king high, you can often bet on a king high flop.
Because we assume our opponent has aces.
No, we just have, we have so many more kings and our kings are all the good, our kings are good.
Yeah, the reason that why the aces are down here and not up here for bet frequency is this. Big blind's going to defend a lot of aces as well. So he's going to have a lot of aces in his range that plays this way.
And we have more kings than he does? Is that
Yes.
the idea?
And we have more kings. Well, we can look at it, right? So we can look
Yeah.
at what this is our RFI range. Okay, so I don't want, let's go to strategy. This is our RFI range, right? We've got all these kings and then we're RFIing all the suited aces. And we'll go back to big blind range.
It sounds like you're really low bandwidth,
Right.
Eric.
Yeah, he's got that problem today. We're gonna move to the drill. When we do drill, Mike, can you set up on GTO Wizard a drill of low jack versus big blind, single raise pot?
Yes, I will attempt that.
Yeah,
See if I can figure that
we'll
out.
have you push the buttons on that
Okay.
as soon as and we'll see if Larry's screen comes back up And if not, I think we're gonna move to it now. Yep, all
Um,
right, we'll do that.
I don't understand why you always bet when it's 2-2-2.
Oh, real
what-
simple. We have all the pairs. And we have all the big pairs, and he doesn't as a percent of their range. Let me, I'm gonna steal the screen back. And go to study. We'll see this. All right. Yeah, I know. I'm sharing screen. Go away. There we go. Participants can see your screen. Get out of my way. Study. We are going to be in 9 max works fine. Okay. So here's our low jack range. And look at our pairs and our ace king compared to the rest of our range. Our range is made up of, and look, remember, this is the most important part of it, is the offsuit branch. Okay. Our pairs are littered with kings and ace king. We don't have any of this here. And we've got pairs, right? We don't have this. So all our middling cards are missing. Now look at what the big blind defends when we raise. So low jack raises. Here's the big blind defense. Okay. Yes, he has all the pairs, but all these other cards here that he has that we don't dilute how often when the board is deuce, 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 he has the winning hand. So our equity on a deuce, deuce, deuce board is much higher.
Okay.
That's the thought. So let's switch over. Mike.
We have twos. We have
Yeah,
he
well,
has
pocket two,
ace 2
pocket.
and he has king 2.
Yeah, but the quads, we're not thinking about quads here. Yes, he has, we're not thinking about quads only because that is it's hard to have quads on a trip to flop quads.
Yep.
You know, so yes, the ultimate nuts, if we look at the difference, our percentage of twos in our range, I don't know how to get it I don't know how to get it get you the actual number. But when we look at it, neither of us owns any offsuit twos.
Right.
So he's got deuce, deuce, king deuce a little bit, and ace deuce suited. He's bet away some of his ace deuce suited, right?
Yep.
So take a look at that king deuce there. That's the same number as ace deuce suited. So he's got 1 cube of ace deuce suited full. He's got a full deuce deuce there, which doesn't matter because it's deuces or there's 3 deuces on the board. So he's got 1 square plus, a quarter of a square spread out over a range of how many combos total? Where does it tell us the total number of combos?
Share your screen, Scotty.
Oh, I've been pointing at things. I'm an idiot. Thank you. Share my screen. Okay. There we go. So just looking at the deuces there, if you want to look at quads, neither of us has deuce on a quads board.
Yep.
This is him. 1 full square here, and then a smattering of these spread out over a total number of combos that he plays, that he calls of 244 combos that he plays, right?
Right.
So 1 1/4 squares, which is 4 combos plus 1.5 combos. So 5.5, let's call it 6 combos out of 244 is a deuce for him. Look at us. Here's the low jack. We have all the ace deuce, none of the others. We have 4 spread out over 233. So those numbers are comparable. He has a little more quads than us. We raise 233 combos. He defends 244 combos. He has a few more of them. But we have big pairs that he doesn't. So when it's so we win the pair versus pair fight because these are gone. We're only looking at his calling range. And now his pairs as a percentage of his range. Look at our pairs as a percentage of our range, just by eye.
Yep. He's
We're a
got
little
jacks
better
and
off.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not killing it, but we're ahead. And when both of us flop nothing, our nothing is better than his nothing. All right. So Mike, why don't you got the You got the drill set up?
I think so.
All right. Take over.
Okay, you should be able to see it.
Yep.
You want to go through and just kind of rotate everybody, take 3 hands?
Sounds perfect. Everybody but Larry gets to do 3 hands.
Okay.
You set it up. You're up first, Mike.
All right, I'll go first here. So and this is set up so that it's we raised under the gun and the big blind calls. We see a flop and it's on us. We learned that this is a very high frequency flop to bet and to bet. You can actually get some big bets on this board. If I remember right, it's kind of split up pretty evenly. I think with our hand though, I almost wonder if this is one of the hands that we're going to check.
I want to bet this one big because we bet it's a big bet board. We have a big bet hand of 2 pair and we unblock his continues.
I missed the 2. Yep, you're good call. I missed the 2 pair. I thought we just had. I thought we had King X, and I didn't see
yeah.
the 2 pair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King X, I think that would be a fine check back. Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out. I probably would have made a mistake here. And yes, that puts us into a big hand category, a big bet category.
Yeah.
Overbets are rare coming from under the gun, so I'm going to go 75. Okay.
Overbet. Look at it.
There's a lot of overbets there.
Yeah. But everything is right. You can't be wrong.
Next hand.
Oh, let's play to the end of the hand. Ready,
Oh,
fold.
sorry. Okay. My bad.
Yeah.
Next hand. Okay. All right. This is going to be a rough board for us. We have a good hand. This could be checked back quite often. Queens are going to bet more than kings. Kings are going to bet more than aces. I'm going to bet this board. I'm going to bet it at half pot. If we go by the RNG, this is an aggressive-ish roll. So I'm going to go 50 here. This could be checked back probably half the time, I'm thinking, but I'm going 50. No, oh, it's got to be small.
Yeah. Small locked up, it's locked up equity.
Locked up equity. Yep.
What
That's
does
the norm.
locked up equity mean?
Someone can already have a straight, someone can already have a flush. So the boards that you tend to bet small, we just know this, you bet monotone boards, right? And why? They could already have the flush. 7, 8, 10, there are 2 straights available here. 9 jack, which he definitely has. 6, 9, which he's might have. And the other board that we call locked up equity is a paired board. Sometimes they have, sometimes on a board of ace 4, 4, when you have ace king, they have a 4. And the 4 is pretty locked up. So that's why those boards tend to be small bets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say we
Mike, by the way, Mike, thank you for taking over. Guys, I'm really sorry about my internet being a little bitch. So
We
Mike,
forgive
thank
you.
you for taking over.
All right, we'll continue. I didn't break the solver. It still has a little bit in there, so we'll continue with our half pot bet size, and they just fold. Okay.
Yay.
Was that my third hand?
Nope, that was your second hand.
Okay. Next hand. All right, this is going to be checked a lot. Do I want to bet? I don't think this hand wants to bet either. We've still have decent enough showdown versus a big blind range. Probably not much, but I'm going to check this hand. It's going to check a lot. Our range is going to check a lot. So it does bet quite often.
Yeah, I think we get to bet here because of the disconnected nature.
After I go check and he checks, sometimes this is where I get messed up on whether I should continue to bet or if I should continue to check this hand down or bet or delay c-bet here.
Maybe one question to ask is, are you blocking value and do you unblock his auto folds.
I'm kind of blocking his auto folds.
Yeah, yeah, we're blocking his auto folds. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would take I would potentially begin to bluff here. I mean, we have no equity. Well, we have king high, so arguable against big blind.
We've got, we've got
Yeah,
actual showdown value on a check river. We can go check win this a lot.
yeah, that's what I was going with. That king jack seems almost like it could be good enough against a big blind range. The RNG wants an aggressive, rolls aggressive. So if there is bets, we're gonna have them. But I'm gonna check
Yeah, it's gonna be 1.8% when we bet it. I mean, not 1%, it's gonna be
a
better.
third.
Small.
Yeah,
And it's got,
B33.
Yep.
Okay, so we did check behind.
and that's
And
easy check.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
gonna
you're
take this showdown equity here. You know, they could have some king X that we beat, some queen X. There's just a lot of hands we beat. So I'm gonna check behind here. And it does do some bluffing. Yeah, we should expect to see that. Okay.
Yep.
Who's next?
Derek's next.
We'll go.
You're up, Derek.
All right. King 9. I like it. So I'm probably going to bet here. So I think I bet frequently and small. So
Okay.
I'm going to go 1.8.
Okay. I feel like that's going to be a reasonable size. I think we get some larger bets. I think you can mix in some 50s on this board is my guess.
Yep, but nothing bigger. That's great.
Okay. Good job, Derek.
Like definitely continuing here. So I have a policy of just betting pot or not at all. Unless I have a really good reason. So I'm betting both pot. So I
Okay.
guess either the 75 or the 125.
And I'm
You pick.
checking.
Yeah, either of those is fine.
You pick.
Go big. Go big.
Okay. Going big. Derek's going big. I would continue as well, but I wouldn't go big. I would
What
go
size? 33 or 50?
The reason
would go
I bet
33.
pot is because of the DTO. So
Yeah.
it just
Although a
simplifies
reminder,
the game
Derek,
for me.
just one reminder, Derek, on that DTO, that was a three-way where you bet pot. So don't take that heuristic that we were learning off DTO.
Oh, it's only in three-way that you bet pot?
Yeah, where that was the only choice. That was its three-way thing on the turn.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well,
that's
I'm
fine.
implementing it wrong then.
Good enough.
But
Derek,
I think you're on the right track. I mean, clearly
you
we
were on
get
the right
over
track.
bets here. At a low frequency, but we get over bets.
Right. When it just wanted the bigger overbet.
Why does it check so much?
Because you can describe this hand two ways. This hand is a great draw, it's a draw to the nuts, and this draw is also now a pair, but it is now marginally made as second pair instead of top pair. You flop top pair, you turned second pair. And so this hand is marginally made.
Oh, so I degrade my hand. Like I
Yeah,
thought, oh great,
and
I turned some equity. I'm
you
gonna
did.
continue.
But in the choice between the two, remember you're in position, which is you would hate to get check raised here. You can't
Oh,
fold.
yeah.
You can't fold, but now you put in a bunch of money that you don't have to. When this hand goes check now, another way of looking at it is this way. If he doesn't have an ace, you're probably not getting three streets of value.
Right.
So that would be a reason to check. Reasons to bet, if he has a spade draw, you're not going to get you're not going to get a bet in on the river if he doesn't hit the spade and you're giving him a free card. That's the old limit poker argument for why you have to bet here. But remember, he has a spade and it bricks off and you check here, he's incentivized to bluff. And this is a much better bluff catcher than it is a bet for value on the river when the spade doesn't come in.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think there's a little tension here, if you would. I think that's the word that Jordan
There
uses
is.
in situations
Yeah.
like this. There's a little tension between, um, turning a draw to the nuts and the downgrade of our hand from top pair. So
Right.
that's why you see this kind of, very low frequency, but, highly polarized choice to overbet big.
Okay, because I've been usually continuing most of the time if I improve on the turn.
Well, your instinct to do it was fine, and your instinct to bet big was fine. The solver just said, go really big.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look at that 11% of 15. Your thought process is directly, the solver is happy with your thought process.
Okay.
But the thing to remember is when you have a tension between betting it as a draw and checking it as marginally made, the marginally made component beats the other one more of the time. Not 100% of the time, but more of the time.
Okay.
All right,
Because like
so, right.
against my population, I just assume they don't have the balls to check raise me unless they get two pair.
Right, but when they
or
have two
something
pairs,
big.
but that's the thing. I'm not saying you're worried about check raise bluffs. You wouldn't mind being check raise bluffed here. You're not
Right.
full.
Right.
But you don't want to pay more money for when you get check raised, your king now goes down in value to nothing, and you're on your flush draw. You've
Right.
got to
Right.
hit your flush draw. And given a choice, do you want to pay lots for your flush draw or pay little for your flush draw?
Right. Right.
But when you don't get check raised, when you haven't beat, how often are you going to be able to bet the turn and river and get called by both streets? Not very often.
Never. Almost
Right.
never. Yeah.
So your play works, but so does the but in that place there, so does the other play.
So this is a clear check. You now have a marginal made hand.
Yeah.
That's
so this
why
is
the
mostly check.
85%.
Yeah. But you also have a pair in the nut flush draw, and a pair in the nut flush draw is good enough to bet. When you bet, you can bet it huge. And the bigger you bet, the less often you get check raised also.
Right.
But you
That's a
haven't
good
broken
point.
the solver, so you get to go to the river. You're fine.
All right, so I'm gonna add something here because my line was to take a small bet here, and GTO Wizard considers it a blunder. It still is positive EV, but it considered it a blunder. And here's why I was thinking small might be viable, and I was probably thinking more on the lines of population, which if I bet small, I can still get value and sort of give myself a river when I beat. Whereas they're not gonna raise me very often, like population. Whereas I wonder if GTO, like, if there's gonna be a lot more raising, I'm gonna get raised. Which at the time when I bet the 30, I was like, I'm still gonna call a raise. So that's why I didn't think a small bet would be bad. And
Right.
I guess it's not, but GTO Wizard considers it a blunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have a good point. I mean, humans are never gonna check raise as much as solver does. It might be interesting to see what his check raise what solver check raise frequency is here. If we do have a small, we may not have a small bet in our strategy, but
Like, I don't
Yeah,
think my
we're
population check
never
raises
going to
unless
see
you
it.
have two pair.
It's 0%.
well,
Yeah.
with this combo, but I wonder across the entire range.
Oh, right. Yeah. So if we have any small bets on this thing, the thing I will bet is that solver check raise frequency will go way up on against a 33% bet compared to a 175% bet.
Yeah, I wonder, I don't know about the heuristic around it.
Yeah. Let's finish. Let's
right, we'll
finish
finish
the river and then we'll
Double
and then
S draw
back to
board.
that step.
So yeah, Derek's bet is allowable, so we'll continue.
Yep.
Is he gonna punish us?
Nope. But what he folded,
He folded a
got
flush
him to
draw,
fold.
bottom pair.
You got him to fold a flush draw. You wanted him in there. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So this might be another heuristic, right? So
Oh, the check
big
back here
blind
makes
does
so
have a
much
lot of flush draws, but their flush draws are obviously gonna be worse than our nut flush draw. So maybe we do want him to get,
You do. This hand is amazing. He folded a pair and a flush draw because we bet because of the size of our bet. And we didn't want him to.
Oh. I never considered that.
Yeah. Oh.
I wasn't
I-
thinking about that.
Mike, you can click on the light bulb.
The light bulb that says
Yeah.
analyze, right next to practice.
Yeah, right there. And then once you click on the light bulb, you can click, it'll open up another screen. Once you click on the light bulb, no, if you go back. So if you click on the light bulb first, and it'll open up a screen. I'm sorry, the other light bulb, the light bulb low,
Oh.
yeah, that one, sir.
Oh, that one. There we go.
And then now you can click on the hat, on the graduation ceremony hat. At the very top. If you do it at the very top, it'll bring up this hat. Yeah, that one. That's if you, yeah, it should open up this hand.
It's opening it up on another window, so I have to bring that in.
Oh, bummer. It
You
doesn't
might
do
have been only screen, yeah, you might have only been screen sharing one, so you might have to turn your screen share off and on. This is quality YouTube content.
Like and subscribe if you enjoy all the network timeouts.
All right.
So so yeah, this is an interesting hand. Our first question is on turn in position, what is our betting strategy? Do we just have polarized sizing? Like we saw with that combo? Mostly check. Yeah, so our hand actually is a little bit of a unicorn because we do have small bets here a lot.
We have lots of small bets. All those aces.
Yeah. So Mike, if we bet small here, how often do we get check raised on this texture?
There's
I
check.
think a regular clip, that's like 12%, kind of a regular clip.
Okay, 12%. And now give it our big bet. The 170, when we bet the 175. Or you're gonna have him check raise us first. Okay. We don't fold any kings to a check raise. Oh, no, yeah, we have a sliver of ace king folding.
So
Yeah,
you wanted to
probably.
see this bet.
What are we folding an ace king for? That's insane. We're not folding an ace king.
Where are you seeing folding an ace king?
I'm not
Yeah.
folding ace king.
Oh, a little bit of blue on there.
That's crazy. I'm not folding that.
Never.
So
Screw you.
It's pretty
Um,
tight.
So you wanted to see after we make our big bet. That's what you wanted to see?
Yeah, after we make our big bet, his check raise frequency drops to 3%.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. That's why that's the solver saying what Mike thought he would do is we're incentivizing a check raise that we don't want to pay.
I see why that one might be folding. Because the ace, king, spades, hearts blocks a lot of the
His draws.
bluffs.
Yeah.
But it's still two pair. That doesn't make sense. I never
Yeah.
fold it in game.
Well, you don't have to. Even that one calls a majority of the time. But yeah, never folding it.
Okay.
Right. And his check raise is the straight. He check raises his queen 10 suited straight, and he check raises a king 5 suited. Two pair. Where's his bluffs? What's his bluff? 10-9. Ten nine queen 8. Block us from having the straight. And he's got a draw. Check raise his flush draw that blocks us having a straight.
Interesting hand.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Back to drill.
You got one more, Derek.
okay. I really appreciate this, guys. So we have like a very marginal hand. And it didn't hit our range at all. So we don't like this at all. We don't have the nuts in our range. So he knows that we didn't hit our range probably. So we can check this, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have some betting because of the bottom pair bluff nature, but mostly
Yeah.
check.
Where you hit it? If we bet, what sizing is it going to use?
Big.
I can't quite hear
Right.
you, Joy.
I'm sorry, I've been having issues with my mic.
Now
If
you
we
sound right.
if we bet, because I'm holding it right against my mouth.
Okay.
If we bet, what sizing are we going to bet?
Yeah, I think this is a high check, low frequency bet board, and if we do bet, I think we get big bets.
Yeah, I'm betting 100% if I'm betting. Say either 75 or 125 if I do bet.
I think
And
Wizard is gonna like a 75. It doesn't typically like an overbet in the early positions, but they're there, but it seems to be rare.
Okay,
Now, I
4.1,
can't
I guess it
guarantee you
is.
this, but do you know why?
No.
Pardon me?
Nut advantage.
We have
When-
known,
When
like
there
this doesn't
is
hit
a
our range at all.
when the board has a 2, even though this board looks like it completely whiffed us, a lot of times the solvers will bet larger.
Because there's
Because
not many twos in our range.
the 2, well, there's not many 2s in anybody's range.
Right.
So there's only 2 cards for anyone to hit, and we start with a stronger range than him. Yep. There we go. No
Yep.
small bets,
Or 75.
50s and 75s. Yeah. So good instinct. And you checked it, right? Which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I said
Yep.
check.
Which is,
Wow, Jack's interesting. This doesn't hit our range at all. We can keep the small pot small. We have a very, very marginal made hand. So we just want to check this down and get the showdown. If he's on a flush draw, good for him. So I'm checking this again. This does not improve us at all.
Yeah, I think it might mix in some bluffs, but I think check is good.
Yeah.
No bluffs.
But
We have to have-
we do have jacks in range.
We have jacks in our range. Oh. Okay, he bets most of pot. We beat a bluff. The 5 doesn't. The 5 completes a bunch of straights, but I'd probably make a tight fold here because 5th pair.
oh, but we rolled an 8. We rolled an 8.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm folding here. I think 5th pair. I don't want to call.
No.
Oh my goodness!
GTO
Okay.
world.
Wow.
So this is 100% call.
Yeah.
Can you
interesting.
walk me through that?
Yes. You have one, you have one pair you're willing to pay 1 street for 1 pair. There was only 1 bet. You've incentivized him to take a stab at it. This board is terrible for your range. Therefore, he's free to bet, and you have showdown value.
Right, right. He doesn't think there's many 2s in our range.
Pay the man his money.
So when I have slightly hit something that's not really in my range,
This
I can
ace
call
deuce,
here.
this ace deuce is the same as ace king.
Yeah, same.
I mean,
exact
only
same
hand-
hand.
The only hand that you beat with ace deuce that you don't beat with ace king is his other deuces. And he's not incentivized to bet his other deuces.
Right, right. So he has either a bluff or
He has a bluff, or you're crushed, and you're crushed equally with ace deuce and ace king and ace queen.
Yeah.
They're all the
If
same hand.
you have a 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Or a jack.
Yeah.
Still crushed.
So we call, and I'm just gonna bet if we hit the study on this one, that ace deuce is gonna do the same thing as ace king and ace queen. That's what my bet is gonna be.
Well, like you, as you say, they're the exact same hand.
I think so.
I disagree.
Okay.
Ace king and ace queen do not block any sets.
Oh. Okay,
Right. Whereas the 2 blocks other 2s. Is
good.
what you're saying, Joey.
Okay,
It blocks pocket 2s.
good. Yeah, and the other ones don't do it at all. Okay, that makes sense.
I agree.
All right. Let's see what he
So-
had. You gotta hit showdown.
Bluff.
Bluff.
No, nope.
Oh no, Jack. Jack. He had you
Jack.
crushed. Had you crushed. You beat the solver.
Yay.
It's an
But-
interesting, is that kind of an interesting size for him to use?
Yeah, it was pretty like 75% pot.
It'd be
Roughly.
interesting to look in solver. If he uses that size pure, or if it's a mix with this
Yeah.
combo.
Yep, right there.
Like
I think he's going to have some really big bets too.
I think my brain's kind of infected because the people that I play against are just showdown monkeys. They just don't want to bet on the river unless they have it.
So he had ace jack nine suited, right?
Yeah.
So if we look at his combos and we look at jack nine suited, how often is he using that sizing with jack nine suited?
So go back one node to him. Thank you.
Yeah, so he's mixing between small and big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was curious how often he's using it with this combo. Mike, would you mind filtering for all his jacks just so we can see what his betting pattern is with top pair? So yeah, thank you, sir. It's it looks like it's very kicker driven.
Yeah, he bets 4 more often.
Yeah,
He
55.
mostly uses the 4, and then top pair, top kicker, he's gonna get some overbets.
I like your colors, Mike.
Yeah.
I can see the difference.
So
And he does, and when he does it, when he does his bet, and we come back to us, we do call with a lot of ace king and a lot of ace queen, but we fold some of it. But we don't fold any ace deuce. So there you go.
Why? I wonder why we're in love with the ace deuce. I don't get that.
It loves a pair. We don't get here with a lot of pairs playing this line of check, 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 check.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's
We
good.
need-
If we filter for our imposition pairs, like if we just filter and do pairs, are we calling all pairs here? I guess we have to do it by pair class. So let me see. So we go down to like third pair, low pair. What do we say?
We fold some sixes,
So we're mostly calling, but we're doing some fold.
right? We fold no deuces, we fold some sixes. And that's because we have king 6 and king 5 and we don't have king deuce. If we had king deuce, we'd be folding some of them.
So what I see also here, which is interesting, is
hold on, I don't understand that. Like, why are we folding sixes but not folding deuces?
Because of the kicker thing. So our ace
Uh,
deuce is the best deuce available. Our king 5 is not the best 5 available.
yeah, that's what's driving it.
So imagine you had king deuce also. You'd be folding some king deuce and calling all your ace deuce. You fold some of your king 5, you call all of your ace 5. You fold some of your king 6, you call all of your ace 6. And by the time you get to 7, the 7 is good enough that you don't need to fold any of it. You just don't have any king deuce to fit with that little argument that I made. That's why.
uh, so
Meanwhile, you fold some eights.
we're folding our 6 like, it seems kind of weird that we're folding some of our sixes, but not our ace deuce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
it's,
sort of
it's
like not
surprising.
sitting with my brain well, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
that part makes sense to me, but that little argument that I just made is completely dispelled by what we do with eights and nines, by the amount of eights and nines we fold.
I mean, one way to look at it is instead of looking at our strategy here, I mean, we can pull in our sixes by adding a filter for whatever pair 6x comes in with. Oh, it's here. So what if we change the view from strategy to equity? Are we seeing a significant equity difference between like ace two and king six?
What I see is that
Yeah.
the ace matters some way.
Yeah, it does. And I'm not sure why.
It
Yeah.
Well, I
could
think
be-
Scotty made a good point before that, you know, we are dominating all his 6x,
Yeah, and
all
look at,
his
look at,
2x.
look at the equity. I mean, it's the ace deuce is got more equity than everything that has any folds. All
Yeah,
the folds are in the 31
It
and
yeah,
the,
could
it's
be,
just,
one of the reasons could be, is that he's checking ace high to get the showdown, but bluffing king and queen high.
that is a very good point. That could very well be
block.
that we're blocking his checkbacks.
the kings block some bluffs.
so we're calling with the ace deuce because he's unlikely to have an ace that he's trying to just check back to showdown.
Yes, that's the argument.
Is that
Yeah,
what you're
If he
saying,
had
Scotty?
ace high, he's not betting. He's checking it to get the showdown.
Whereas since we have an ace, we block some of that.
Well, no, he didn't. He bet, which means he doesn't have ace high.
Yeah.
Right. So you look at the king. Imagine when you've got a king in your hand. When you've got a king in your hand, he has fewer kings in his hand. Therefore, he is bluffing less often because he bluffs with a king in his hand compared to an ace.
Compared to an ace, he's not bluffing with an ace in his hand, which
Right.
he just wants to get to
Right.
showdown. Okay. All right.
Might make
So it
sense to
takes me
point
like
out that
10 minutes to just
we're on pretty, you know, this is at equilibrium. So we're at pretty tight strategy differences here, right?
okay. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
If
And
you
I
guys hadn't
think-
pointed that out.
If we go back to the flop and make that two something different. First of all, let's look at the big blind to see if he is in fact checking a lot of his aces and bluffing kings.
On the
River.
river.
Yeah, just to validate.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, he's checking a lot, all of those aces, but then betting king seven, king eight, king nine.
Yeah. King seven is a pair, but king eight is not.
Mike, can you filter for ace high just to make my overwhelmed brain easier to look at that? Yeah,
Oh,
he's
look at
mostly
all the
just,
green.
he's
Look
mostly
at all the
checking.
green.
Now, I'm guessing that ace high gets to check to get the showdown because there's a two on the board, which means there's only 4 effective cards instead of 5. So ace high has a bit more showdown value because there's a 2 on the board.
Because people don't hit twos.
Not very often.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And the one that has the most 2s in range is the big blind.
Right.
We looked at that before, not particularly, not as a percentage range. We actually have comparable number of twos. Oh, no, that was when we had a
But-
triple two on the board. Never mind, I
To-
was wrong. That's only
total
true. No, I'm wrong.
Total number of 2s just in raw absolute data, the big blind is going to have more.
No, you're
Because-
right. And he has more as a percentage also. We looked at this before you got here, Joey. On a trip two board, we talked about why we both have a comparable percentage of twos in our range, but that's because his 2-2 advantage goes away. On a triple two board, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And the one thing that before we move on that I specifically don't want to look at, I do not want anyone to go into the square. Do not go into the ace king offsuit ace king suited, ace queen, or ace queen offsuit, and try to figure out which suits fold the most. Do not look.
Why?
Do not enter the rabbit hole.
Oh. No, okay. All right, fine.
Well, actually, ace king, the one that's calling the most, is the one that had some folds on the turn. And ace king off. The spade heart was the one that had some folds on the turn.
That was this board? No, that was another game. That was another game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was when we had the ace king board.
Oh, I've been
king
a
double
little
flush.
distracted because I'm trying to make launch while.
Right. Yep.
I think we can all agree though, versus population, it's probably this ace two's a fold, right?
Yeah, I think against population, this is a fold. I agree. This
No,
this seems like a very much I mean, so I think Joey had a very good point in that we're blocking his checkbacks. And that seems very knife edgy strategy to me. So I think that this is a fold against population.
Well, it's
'Cause I mean,
not that we're blocking his checkbacks, we're unblocking his king high bluffs. Where the king high started having folds at
Well,
sixes.
isn't that kind of the same thing though? I mean, we're blocking ace high, which he's going to check back. But yes, we are unblocking king high and queen high and jack high. But I think we're saying the same thing.
Because
It-
we're
it-
right on the razor's edge of pods,
we are
right?
saying
We
the
just
same thing,
only
but-
have to be right 30% of the time. However, that's
It doesn't, when you're talking about blocking a non-bet, you're not really blocking anything because he doesn't. Do you
Both
under,
of
it's
those-
just, we're not saying anything really different, it's just a terminology thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, both arguments, you're both at going the exact same place in the logic train, but the reason that Joey's language on this is to me clearer is for yours, Larry. I have to go. Since we are blocking since we're blocking his checkbacks, that means he has more of this, and that's why I do it. And Joey was at that next step. He has more of this.
Okay. Yeah.
Which
Makes
is
sense.
it's easier for me to think about. Let's go to the next hand. And the one thing, by the way, I disagree on that against population, you fold the two. I think this is a place population finds lots of bluffs. On a check,
Oh.
check.
you think they're making more bluffs than GTO is here?
No, I think they might be making as many or more.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the one case,
Because of the action, because check.
Yeah.
Check.
the action in the board. I have nothing. I mean, you just think now, like, not like a fish, not like someone who only looks at their own hand, who thinks at least two levels. You know, maybe is solver trained, maybe is not solver trained. But you just look at this and you go, what do I think my opponent has here? He has ace king, just the simplified, I'm going to put him on one hand. I'm the big blind. And I go, that's how people play ace king. I'm losing to ace king. Ace king will fold to a bet.
Yeah. I see your point. Can we now you have me interested. Can you show the EV of ace deuce? The EV of the call?
31.
Yeah, it was 32.
That's equity, right?
32, and that was the EV.
Oh, EV.
We don't have to. It's up to you guys.
We can do it. I'm happy to do anything here except look at the suits.
So, yeah, so if you click on it, we could see, yeah, so it's really marginal, but it's a call.
Cool.
And I think that this is a reasonable call against
It's
population.
winning 200ths of a chip.
Well, let me, oh. My mic just took a tumble.
Okay.
Let me throw one more wrench into your thought. I'm in the mind of a fish. I get to the river, you checked all the way down. My ace high's good now. I'm gonna bet because my ace high's good.
Yeah, so that's even more of a reason to call.
But now
If you
your ace two is less valuable because he's bluffing with aces. And
No,
you're blocking some of his bluffs.
no, Joey, I like your logic here, and I'm gonna say that the result of it goes the other way. If he looks at it and he says, my ace high is good, he's got to be, I mean, we have to describe the kind of fish. If he is someone who has no bluffs, who doesn't bluff, then you have to fold the ace deuce. I agree. But if he is someone who thinks both the way I said, which is he looks at it and he goes, you've checked all the way down. I've got 10-8. You've got ace king. I need to bet to win. If he only has to think that much. He doesn't have to think my whole range. He just goes, people who raise under the gun have ace king. People who have ace king check it all the way down. Therefore, I have to bet people with ace king will fold here. If he thinks that, and he thinks that I have an ace, it's probably good, I'm going to bet it for value without thinking about my aces. Now he's bluffing more than solver because I beat his aces. So that means I have to call with my ace deuce even more against him.
Okay, but if you were blocking part of his bluff range with your calling hand, what that means that the equity of your call goes down. Do you understand?
But only if those bluffs are replaced, if they're replaced by other ones. And we didn't. He bluffs just as many hands, then he adds in the ace high bluffs.
I don't
So
I just disagree because in population, I don't see that spot very often where weak players are taking a shot at you.
Okay. If they're not taking a shot at you, this is a fold. We agree on that. And that's enough to agree on. And
Yeah,
I think
this is a Larry thing. Know your customer. You
Yeah.
can call against the right people, but I think for the most part, in population, you should fold ace two.
okay. I think we've all made our points very clearly.
Yep.
Let's do who's up next. Larry, you're up.
Sure. Okay, so this is an interesting spot. We're going to mix checks here. I think instinct is to bet with all this equity. But I think we can do either. My default is to be 33 here and see what develops. Yeah, we can do anything we want except overbet.
Choice.
He likes pushing its equity a little bit more.
Yeah, I think more middle boards like Jack 10, 9s, and 8s. Under gun gets larger bets.
So we like his play, right? This is Jonathan Jaffe had a very good session. A shout out to poker coaching. Jonathan Jaffe had a very good session on turn donks on last Friday. Yeah, we just call.
Yeah.
There's no reason
I
to
hate
raise.
this guy. This guy just played like a solver. How annoying. Yep. Call.
Do you get a little bit? Well, yeah, we just call. All right, so this is an interesting spot. He's claiming he has trips, and then and do we have enough showdown value here do we have enough showdown to check back? Well, we just looked at it and we do a lot of checkbacks here, so let's check back. Let's take our ace high showdown.
Yep. Check 100%. Look at you.
Job, Larry.
Thank
Good
you,
job.
gentlemen.
Want to see anything?
Just see if we win.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. No. Straight.
Straight.
He checked back a straight there.
Trappy little
Well
bastard.
played.
Well played. Well played.
I'm so glad we didn't have king 5.
I'm really surprised he does not follow through there.
Yeah.
Do we want to look and see what his trap percentage is?
He hits his straight and then he checks.
Yeah. That's not a protection check. He's
When
What the
when
heck
he
is
checks,
going on?
we're
He's
supposed
trying to make us bluff even though
Yep.
we checked.
that's what
yeah,
he's
when
doing.
he checks, we're supposed to bluff the queen. Because the queen is better for our range.
Right.
Oh,
But just
okay.
not this hand.
So he's thinking this queen hit our range, therefore we are going to bluff it.
Yeah.
That's what
So
he's
I'm
thinking?
curious, if we look at the top of range, which is his straight, well, there's
That's-
also obviously houses here, but At what frequency does he choose to check back 10-9? A lot. He's almost pure trapping.
What a jerk.
When he checks here, so this must be, obviously, this is solver, so every strategy is interacting with the next step in the tree. So we must bet at a high clip on this node when he checks. And we do bet at a high clip. Well, we bet half the time. And when we bet, we're partly repping.
What's the thing behind the tiny dunk bet that the tiny bet that he makes on the turn? He goes
A paired-
1.8.
A paired board, you can bet small, donking into the other player.
Especially when it's the second pair that goes. It just absolutely kills it hits his check call range on the flop.
Yeah, I mean, it's an equity shifting card. Like if we were to look at big blind range versus range, he would have a big equity shift to him here.
So because he has a lot of eights,
Yeah,
And when-
he
is what
calls
you're
it.
saying? He's just betting the fact that he has a lot of eights.
Exactly.
And if he gets
Typically-
blown off his straight, so what?
Well, he's not gonna get blown off
Well-
the street. We don't have a lot of eights.
Typically, on a paired board, we bet smaller too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine he just has more trips here. Like if we were to look at hands, he would have more trips and more houses.
Yeah. We check a lot of our eights on the flop as opposed to betting them. He calls all of his eights rather than check raising them. So
Okay.
after filtering, that is a good card for him. When we have
Okay.
top pair, we can't raise him, so he can bet his straight draw there. And then if it doesn't come in, he can bluff it on the river, having set it up this way. And he doesn't get raised off his straight draw very often at all, because we have so few eights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like that almost seems like the perfect donking scenario.
Yeah.
With his combo.
I think a jack two would do the same thing, right?
Out of positions, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look. I'm not sure.
Before I change this, anything else you want to see here?
Oh, just to confirm it, give us the bet, have him check that 10-9, give us our most common bet size and let's watch him check raise us. He's not afraid of us having a full house. That's what I'm saying. Just confirming it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So our bet is 95 is our bet is 75 is our usual size.
Yep.
That's our
Yeah.
most common size.
He is not afraid. 10-9 of hearts has a little bit of check back. A little bit of just call, but he's generally doing that to mess with us.
Yeah, that's important. It's important to see that our straight is a value shove despite a paired board.
All right, I'm going to change this to a jack of diamonds.
Right. And now he has I don't think he has any donks.
No, you're right.
And now make it 2. Is third pair, is a third pair enough to do it, or is a 2 not a thing? Is 2 not a card? There are no 2s in the deck.
Yeah,
There's-
he just must have so many more eights that
Yeah.
that drives this.
2s do some folding. He just doesn't have them.
Am I doing another one here?
Yep.
Okay, so we know that we get big bets here. We think we do. I'm not totally ever sure about these textures, but I think let's try it. Let's B75.
That would be my choice.
Yeah, I like it.
It's our second favorite choice. So much checking. I always am surprised by how much checking we do with these overpairs.
Why are we checking with an overpair here? I don't understand.
My guess would be range advantage really doesn't lay with us. Range advantage lays with big blind.
Oh, because there's so much more 2s and 4s in his range.
And nut
Okay.
advantage too.
Well,
Let
it's, we
me-
don't always have queens, so don't imagine, don't picture our hand against his range. Picture our range against his range.
Okay.
And on this board, we have to do a lot of checking back, right? If you only check back your bad hands, then your checking range is laying out there all pink and naked and letting him just bet every non-ace, king, queen turn. And you've got nothing left to defend with.
Okay.
So
So
here,
we
yeah.
check here to preserve our range.
right, which in
Okay,
the old
okay.
way is, you could say, I'm slow playing queens here, but it's really to get to go in your checking range. And the other thing is, we assume that this is going to be a reverse linear check back, meaning aces check more, kings, then queens, then jacks.
Yeah, good point.
So that's what we
However,
think.
I would not do this against population. You're
Yeah.
checking here to protect your checking range.
And you don't need to.
If you're playing against loose passive players, which most of the players are, they're not going to exploit your checks when you check here. So you don't have to protect your checking range. Just bet for value and get as much money out of them as you can.
I
Right.
agree 100%.
So in my game that I play against in Falls View, I can just bet here.
Just bet.
100%.
Just bet.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Now, before we go on from this one, once we finish this hand, I wanted to check the one thing. I want to see how reverse linear it is on our big pairs here in GTO world when the time comes.
Yeah, I would think nines are betting largest
Yeah.
or the most.
Sometimes it goes back down as the pair gets lower. Sometimes you get, it sort of like goes up to jacks and then starts going down with tens and nines.
Yeah, once it starts interacting with the top card.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll take a look.
Do you guys think this hand is good enough to begin to think about 2E?
Yep. I do.
No.
I don't love the nine.
Because 2E's around 30 big blinds.
What do you mean? What do you mean 2E?
Yeah, you're right. We're never getting it in, Joe. We're never getting it in against a worse hand, with 2E. 2E means we've got 93 big blinds left. And we want to get all in because we believe that queens are the nuts, which they're not. If you can get 100 big blinds in, queens are losing.
Right.
But if it were, let's say we had pocket nines here and we go, we want to get all the money in by the river. If you want your bet sizes to be the same percentage of the pot on the turn in the river to get all in, which is the smoothest betting, which is the easiest way to get him, it makes it the least painful way for him to go all in. Each bet is of the same percentage. 2E is the description of that. 3E means 3 equal size bets as a percentage of the pot to get all in. 2E means 2. And looking at this, to get it in, we have to go double pot, double pot. And that's too big for him to call with anything that we beat.
Okay.
So we're not going to get it in 2E. So now we just think about what size we can get the most money from the hand we beat.
So I think a B75 is what I would use there a lot.
Yeah, I like
Me too.
75.
Yep. Nice.
So it does get a little bit of this close to 2E sizing. But yeah, mostly just uses this size.
That's a good one.
Good.
Now this is interesting. So
7-10 got there. 5-7 got there.
he does have 5-7 suited.
Yep.
I don't think he has 10-7 suited. I think checking back we've heavily filtered his range, right?
Yep.
He could have 10-7 in spades or hearts.
Yeah. So, because of straight get there, it probably lowers our size. So I'm gonna B50 this.
60.
Yeah,
Yeah.
B60, sorry.
Yeah, 3-5 also gets there, 3-5 suited.
That's a good point.
Yes. And he definitely has that.
We might check back. There's so many. Oh no, it likes to go a little bigger, but we're not breaking the solver.
Yeah.
Solver is not afraid.
Right. And he
He
folds.
really held on with that 4-3, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think humans are going that far with a 4-3.
Good job. All right, let's take a look at that flop and see, just see whether the pairs really are reverse linear. Good job, Larry.
Thank you.
There we go. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And just looking at the overall frequencies of them, I can't tell by doing, so just roll over aces, then kings, then queens, then jacks, and see. So the overall frequency, aces check 60, kings. Check this. Oh, is that, oh, we have to click on it. You can't just roll over it to do it. You got to click on the aces to see the overall frequency. Click. No, it's still not changing the overall, is it? Oh, I just look at the check frequency. Here, we can see it. Can
Yeah,
we?
just look at check frequency.
It's hidden in the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know how to see that.
Jerk.
54, I think it's 54.
Okay,
And this is 44.7.
right. Yep. Thank you.
Looks like 47.
Okay. Oh, I see you're looking right at the tops. Crazy.
That looks like 57 or 53.
So it reverses at jacks,
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not as clear as we've seen in other
and then it goes
situations.
tens and nines. Yeah. And it's that he has in his range, queens, jacks, and tens. But no aces or kings. So we go reverse linear to the queen and then down. Because our nines are actually beaten sometimes by his tens that he does have.
I have a theory on why tens and nines are checking more often, because say we're betting with pocket tens, a lot of the range that we want to get called by is like 10-9, jack 9, 10-9, 9-7.
Yeah, we're blocking all this continuously. But
Yeah.
that's valid.
Cool.
Don't know if that's true, but that's just something like that just popped in my head.
All right, you're up, Joey. By the way, we're going in the order that you guys appear on my screen. That's where this is coming from. And JL left before he had a chance to go.
I think we can bet this. There's arguments for checking or betting this. On a paired board, queen high paired board, I think I'll bet 33.
Check.
The 9 does not help our range. It's not a barreling card. I check.
Yeah, 18 check.
Ace is a great card for our range. We block the flush. Is sevens enough to show down, or do we turn it into a bluff? I don't know. It's borderline.
It is borderline.
I will. Ooh,
Show it down.
I know. I want to show it down, but I'm afraid it's too weak. All right, give me I don't look at numbers. Um,
Can we agree that if it's a bet, it's a big bet?
no,
Because bluff?
just small bet.
Oh, what are we bluffing out with that then? I think we have to get a nine. We have to get a nine and a queen to fold for it.
We have a paired board and a flush hit.
All right.
That on those two things, our value range doesn't want to, unless we have the king high flush, or actually king high flush wouldn't be over betting. I think king high flush would be around a pot. maybe a little under. Our one pair hand, like if we backed into an ace top pair thing here, I think we're betting like 75.
So I believe that there will be no bets of 2.5 or 5.5. That those don't do anything. It's gotta be, we that are, that we check mostly, and when we bet, we start at 12.
Yeah, I don't think I agree, there's no 2.5. I think there might be 5.5 in this range.
Okay.
But
You rolled a 91.
I'm gonna check.
Yeah, you rolled a 91, therefore you're checking.
I don't look at the dice roll.
I know. And
And when
the
it
bet
does bet, it bets
size,
60.
where's the bet big? Where is it? 60. Okay, 60 accomplishes something. I was wrong.
Yeah, it's just a heuristic. When a flush hits and a paired board,
Yeah.
we don't bet that large.
Right. And I just thought that if we bluff it, we have to get that queen to fold.
Can we look at, solve and see what our bet sizing is on river? Across range? Yeah. Choice spot on. With this action and this texture, we don't really get big bets.
Yeah, it's all 60. I feel good at least that I figured out that it wasn't 32 or 27. I feel bad that I included the 60 in that.
It's an interesting spot.
I also feel-
want to.
I also feel bad that Israel feels that they need to respond to the latest attack from Iran with a military response, but that's not on point.
Uh-oh.
Something I
we
feel
want
bad
to
about.
Check this and keep this in our checking range.
Yeah, I would check here too. Do you think it ever bets? Do you think it mixes in here at any frequency?
Yeah, I'm sure it mixes with the flush and the pair.
Small? Okay.
I'm actually surprised to see some 75% with this. Now can we get one or two bets with a medium ace? Would it be 50 this one? 2.75.
Nice.
Check.
Yeah.
Don't
me
think you
too.
can get value from a jack here? No. Or an ace five? That we split with anyway, so.
Yeah, the queen
Yeah.
on the river wasn't good for us.
Yeah.
Ace 10. So ace 10, when we bet, we're betting large. I don't think this hand can sustain a large bet, so I'll check. Oh, we are betting small, but it's still check.
Yeah.
I want to check this at the end because I think we get large bets on ace 10.
I would think so.
I'll check a second time.
I'll bet here.
Now this is where it gets interesting. Do we have value here?
We have value.
Yeah, we got to get one bet with top pair at least.
Yeah.
But with the board pairing, we're not going to bet too large. I'm wondering if this is one of those rare 36% spots.
What do you mean by that?
So Derek, this is something we mentioned before. So we're on the river in position, and there's a heuristic that says that when you're on the river in position, ignore the board, ignore everything else, you don't bet less than 50%. And the reason
Never less
is-
than 50%.
right. Yeah, that's not a hard and fast rule. And it comes from the idea that that whether you win, whether you have the best hand or you don't have the best hand, you're putting in a certain amount of risk by reopening the action. When they have you crushed, if your hand is good enough that it has to call a check raise, you lose lots of money. So you're risking that. When they are aggressive enough to put in a check raise bluff and you have to fold your hand, you're losing that. So for the times that you win, because remember, you get a lot of folds, but those folds you make no money on. So when you win, you have to win enough money to make up for those times that you get screwed. And so the 50% was the break even point. In a sense, you could look and say, it would be a bad idea to bet one big blind here and give them that chance. So where's the break even point? And the break even point is right around 50%, according to many solvers and Matt Affleck, who is a human solver.
Can, can I
So
do
we-
that? Can I apply that in like a loose game where
Yes.
that I play?
Yes, you can. You don't have to, but you can. It's a simplification to your game that you are not going to be wrong about. And we've decided that for the next 6 months, we're not going to try to be smarter than Matt Affleck.
Okay, I'm
We're gonna
definitely
just sort of-
dumber than Matt Affleck.
Right.
So
We're just going to kind of
So-
look at those places and see. So Joey looked at this and he said, okay, I'm not betting less than 50%. And then he looked, is this one of the rare occasions? So he's going to make his decision whether it is or not. And then we're going to look to see if this is one of the rare occasions, so that in 6 months, we've got a little bit of a background of what are the kind of boards that break the Matt Affleck heuristic.
okay, I'm gonna try that in my game. Just
Right.
like
Yeah.
never betting anything
Yeah.
less than
And
50%. Because
point
like I
out-
bet a lot of
Yeah.
suck bets.
Yeah. It's not just solver, by the way. This comes from GTO, and Matt implements this, but there are solver exceptions, and there are also coaches who don't teach this, who don't agree, who say, no, there are plenty of times that you want to bet 25% here on the river. They claim to be smarter than Affleck. So I'm just saying, Jonathan Glatney claims he's smarter than Matt Affleck, and I think I think we can all agree that that's what he's saying, right? And that he's thrown down the gauntlet.
Well, I claim to be dumber than Matt Affleck. So
Right. So I'm clearly all right. So you're checking it back, Joey, or you betting the 73?
No, I'm not checking it.
All right, let's bet the 73 then. Because you're not
Um,
betting 155, are you?
no, I'm thinking about betting 36.
All right. Joey claims he's smarter than Matt. Go with it.
The board
You all heard it
pairing,
here.
the board pairing on the river. Okay, all right. My general way in game I've been approaching this is, unless I know it's an exception, I'm going to bet over 50.
Right.
I think this might be one of the exceptions, but I'm going to go B73.
All right.
Before I met you guys, I'd probably bet the 36.
Right. And this is not an Affleck denying board.
The Affleck theorem holds for now.
Perfect.
So
100% Joey.
Well played.
Was that your third one or your second one?
I think it was my second.
Okay, go again.
Hmm. I think man.
Big bet. I like a big bet here.
Yeah. I'm trying, if you're going to have a big bet, you're going to have a lot of checks. So I'm trying to develop in my mind what are the best bluffs here. And obviously we have the spades, which makes a good bluff. Does the king 7, obviously like a jack 9 would be much better. Queen 9, 9 7, jack 7. And then hearts, same thing. Alright, I'm gonna be 50 this.
Joey the human solver.
And I was on team check here because uh, when I looked at it and I started saying, look, let's take all of our draws on this board. I was starting with every 9 is better than, our 7 interacts with the board, but the 9s are great.
Yeah, that's a
compared-
good point.
So let's bluff the king 9 and the jack 9 and obviously it's jack 9 that you mentioned, but let's bluff all the 9s before we do it. All the 9s with spades, hearts and diamonds. And that's enough of them.
It'll be
So-
interesting to look at solve and see if we
But-
do get big bets with king 9.
So
I
one
don't-
thing I
See,
don't,
I don't think we have all the 9s. I think we start folding partial queen 9 suited, jack 9 suited from under the gun here.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think that, but you're right. We don't even have jack 9 suited in the low jack.
I thought we did, but okay.
Do we? All right, let me look real quick. I say that with such confidence and I'm so wrong.
so check is
don't have jack
45%, but
We
it's
have all- we
less
have-
EV.
We have 100% queen 9. We have no jack 9. We have some 10-9. 10-9's already a pair,
Cool.
but we have all the king 9 and all the ace 9. So-
I agree, 9 is a better card.
Right.
Oh, and he raised this? Okay. How frisky am I?
Frisky starts with F. F stands for fold.
I think it's either fold or 100%.
Against
I
my
don't know if we have
population,
any
I fold.
call. I don't know if we have any calls. Maybe. No. If we had a king 9, it might be a call. Ten eight is pretty good for, I'll fold. Oh, it raises, it wants to do 50.
Yeah.
I was thinking 100.
I think that would have not gone well for you. All right, so, but did you want to take a look at the range construction on the flop there? See how-
So can we talk about the spot real quick?
Yeah.
And just one adjustment that Peter Clark is arguing. So Peter Clark is arguing that if we look at solve, we're gonna see that he's going to check raise 3s, almost, I would guess, super high frequency, maybe pure.
Mhm.
However, Peter is saying this is an error, and his argument is that we just have too much equity against how the population bets. And that the population is going to continue to barrel at. Population gets a call, it's going to continue to barrel on turn and river at a high enough frequency that we have more, we make more money slow playing our sets. We just look at, does he check raise that set pure? I'm gonna guess it's pure. Not entirely pure, but a lot.
And the 8s, same thing. 8s are doing a lot of check raising, but not pure.
Yeah, and his argument is that we should slow play this at a higher frequency. Because, especially on this kind of texture. Because we make more money by letting them bet into us.
Right. I think the population c-bets at a higher frequency than solver.
For sure.
And so they have too much stuff to fold there.
So if that's the case, then we should slow play at a higher frequency.
So this is our range construction. We bet all our 9s that have backdoors. I'm getting, roll over one of those suited ones. Suited 9. We can bet without a backdoor. Well, the queen is direct equity. We got to get to the king. You don't need the backdoor, but you like it. the ace nine. You don't care whether you have the back door with the ace nine. Look at ace nine of clubs. It's even more than the others. So that breaks my theory.
We look at king nine after we get the check raise. What's our calling range with the
Queen nine does it. Queen nine calls.
the king? So king nine folds.
Right.
King nine with even the backdoor flush folds.
Yeah.
Okay,
And ace nine doesn't.
ace nine. But the queen nine is close enough. It's got enough connectivity that it says, all right,
Queen nine have direct equity to a
The
straight.
queen nine
Yeah.
has a gut shot.
It's a
yeah,
gut shot, and it's a gut shot to the nuts when it comes in.
so with the gut shot, we call. With the tens, we slow play. Lower pairs aren't folding. And it looks like all our backdoor broadways are calling that have overcards and backdoor flushes.
I would have stuck around with king nine though. If I
Yeah,
had king nine, I might have made a mistake because I folded because it was a 7 and didn't have as much connectivity. But I thought a king nine might stick around.
yeah.
Look at the ace seven. Ace seven sticks around with backdoors. It's indifferent, but I guess ace is a good card in poker. But you need a bat, but you need nothing in, no two overcards in the offsuit branch. Okay. Skate, you're next, and then king, you're next after that. The scenario will be obvious. Are you there, Skate?
Yep.
Okay, it's you.
Good.
All right. We got eights on a paired board. I don't imagine them having many deuces up, so I'm gonna go ahead and bet. I don't think we have to go too large. Maybe it's gonna be mostly 33 and 50, but I'm gonna go with 33.
Oh, there's a lot more big bets. Oh, right. Deuces don't matter. Deuces aren't a paired board.
Okay.
All right. There is no check.
Yeah, I was chucking. Wow.
There was no check on the flop.
No, you chose it right. I was wrong.
It was less than 1%.
There was nothing.
Yeah, because of the 10 there, like they could have a 10 kind of thing.
I guess the reason is this. If deuces don't exist, Joey's simplification that there are no deuces in anyone's hand ever. There's only one card for him to hit, and now your eights get sort of pushed up for marginally made. And they're super vulnerable.
Yeah,
to the
that
next
makes
card.
sense.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, so what does this mean? Like nobody has deuces and he raises, so they're not representing a deuce, and it could only be a 10 or better. Of course, they don't have jacks plus, or even, maybe even nines plus for that matter. Well, I don't like the spot.
Beep, beep.
I think I'm gonna fold.
I'm on team fold. I'm with you. And I
Might be
guess
wrong.
on against population, I'm not double on team fold with you.
Okay.
I would
Yeah,
call.
it's kind of strange. Like I don't know what to do, but
Call
just-
flop, fold turn. It's probably what I
We got
do.
money.
right.
Okay. Boo.
Like nobody has like he's not representing a deuce, so should we call there?
Well,
Well, he kind of is.
no, he
right?
can't have a deuce. When we say that deuces don't exist, we mean until someone makes a different action, they're such a small part of their range. But when he makes this action, now deuces go back into his range. And tens have you beat.
Okay.
And I just don't see, I don't see why he's doing this with threes, fours, fives, six, sevens. If he's your population opponent. And although solver can find some draws here, I don't think our population finds any draws here. And so I
Yeah.
fold. But go to the call node because it's more interesting. Just to play it on.
Is it profitable to call, I guess? Well, here.
It is when that happens.
Yep.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised to see that sizing too, but that is exactly 3.5x. So maybe this deep, it's not
Maybe
that
that's why we
crazy.
call.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's
Okay.
that. Let's bet into his deuce.
I mean, you will hear people talk about two clean outs. And you know,
Yeah,
lightning does strike.
it does. So how big is he gonna call with a 10? That's what we want to bet.
Right. So we're here on the turn. Well, I folded the flop, right? But
Yeah.
but now like we called.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, wizard preferred you not to fold there.
Okay. Well, as played. Well, they checked. They checked the turn. Okay, so. I think I'm gonna check back most of the time here and keep in his bluffs or, yeah, we probably can bet, of course, because he could still have a deuce, so we want to get value from a deuce, right? And a 10. So yeah, I take it back. So we're gonna have some checks, but it's gonna be mostly bet. Yeah, let's go with like or stack that. Let's go with 50, maybe even 75.
Pick one.
50.
Okay.
They're all pretty much the same, EV, right?
He
Yeah, I
likes-
mean, you've got locked up equity. When you have locked up equity, solver's gonna give you lots of choices.
and it loves the small bet. There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
So like it had almost no checks or some checks, of course.
I didn't see any checks. Were there any checks on the last node? I only looked at the,
There were no
Sure.
check.
yeah.
No checks. Okay, so yeah, I like the bet there. Yeah, so like we pretty much have the best hand other than, he might the rare quads he could have, but I think he would have played those differently. So let's get some value. I don't think we want to go too large, but not too small. So let's go with like I don't think he has many strong hands. I mean, he didn't bet the river out of position. I don't think he's trapping. I don't know. Let's bet 21.
And I've changed my mind about the shove that
Maybe.
I initially said just before you hit the button.
Yeah, so
Because we're definitely getting called by flushes. We might be getting called by deuces, but a flush could check raise us here and get all the money in that way. And so we don't want to push it. We don't want an ace to fold here on the river.
yeah.
So
Do
we're
flushes check raise on paired boards?
Yeah,
I
I
hope
don't-
they do.
Well, maybe when there's not a lot of sets possible. Maybe.
Yeah, okay, I could see it with the deuce, with the
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
pair
yeah,
being
yeah.
the deuce. I could see it
Yeah.
more.
So,
Right.
Okay.
so I'm now thinking rather than shove for 2x pot. Oh, this would be insane to bet small to induce.
That's actually kind of a sick check raise from big blind too, with the
Yeah.
double paired board with all of his spade combos. I like that a lot actually in retrospect.
So I'm never gonna do
Right.
this against solver, but against people. There are people who I think I wanna bet 3.5 or 12.5. There are people I wanna bet small to induce against.
Yeah, I could see
People,
that.
but they exist. Okay, now I'm ready. And this,
Yeah.
but this isn't one of those people, so I'm gonna jam. All right,
Okay.
I've said my piece.
Kate, what did
No.
you say?
I said 21.
Okay. I'm on Team Jam. I think when he takes that check raise line, a lot of it's going to contain spades, backdoor spades.
Yeah.
But
I
Yeah,
agree.
ma-
I think that we
doesn't need-
need to target the smaller part of his range that gets us maximum profit.
One question on spades. Do spades check the turn or do spades continue when they pick up their equity?
I think it mixes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a
all-
mix.
If there are any checks with spades, then I'm with you. Okay. Let's hit the 21 though.
We're all right.
We're all right,
Everybody
Yeah.
gets a car.
right? But it loves the bigger bets.
Yeah.
It likes the smaller bets. It loves the bigger bets. But what it hates is the
Check.
84, and I can see why.
Yeah.
Because it's the one size that sort of takes the jam away, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can't check jam over. He won't check jam over the 84 enough. So you don't. So that makes the small bets better than it. And if he's
Yeah.
going to call an 84, he's going to call a 150.
Yeah, if you're betting the 84, you might as well just bet 150.
Right.
Or the
Yeah.
jam.
Right. But the 150 and the jam, it does see a difference between it. It believes that there are hands that will fold to one.
I just didn't want to get an ace to fold or that.
You got
What
a
a hero.
got
Or
a
a
call
seven.
10 that we don't get. So you made the most. You didn't break the solver. You did a lower percentage move and you made the most money possible against his actual hand. Well
Yeah,
done.
we would have not
Yeah.
generated that
Yay.
much.
Nice.
Well played.
Killed
Gabe.
it. All right. You got
DY.
another one.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. I don't like the 9 and the 6, but I do like the 2 overs we have. I would prefer that we had a spade to continue. So I think it's going to be mostly check with okay, mostly check. We do have some bets, but they come if we contain the spade financially.
Okay, you're checking.
Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. I mean, we're the original opener, right? So we're this is a low jack against them. You know what? I think it should be indifferent. I think we're gonna bet. Let's go ahead and bet. Maybe 33. Let's go ahead with that. It's gonna mix.
Okay.
Yeah, it likes it better than the 50. Okay, a little better. Yeah, see, this is why I wanted a spade.
Yeah, you really want a spade here.
Yeah, but I think we check here. Or either or, but I mean, I'm gonna check in game most likely. Ooh. Well, we have ace high, right?
We have a straight.
Excuse me. Yeah, we have a straight.
we have
Yeah,
a very hand that is not the nuts.
that's what I was trying to see if anybody was paying attention. We have a straight.
Keeping us on our toes. It's an important job.
Nicely done.
We have a
Almost fell
straight.
for it.
Well, I mean, the flush came in, so we could only. Do we have any raises here? I mean, I think we just call, right?
I
Well,
think we have. I think we're good enough hand for raising.
I think we
I'm
raised-
always raising.
let me think it back here.
I have an interesting hand.
Yeah, because the turn would check. I don't believe they're. checking almost ever their flushes, even the low ones. So yeah, you're right. Thanks for the lifeline. Let's go ahead with, I don't know. Let's target some pairs, some two pairs and stuff. Let's go 21 maybe. Maybe even 14, 21.
I like both those.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like the
look at that.
21 sizing.
Good job.
Yeah.
It does some. It does a
Yeah.
lot of calling. It doesn't. It.
Right.
That's quite surprising it's that high.
Just some calling, huh?
So
Yep. We're fine. We're fine.
they
When we
say
call, we're,
81%
oh,
calling.
screw you!
Screw this solver.
What a jerk!
So they say 81% calling, but the his raise got the most check marks.
Oh,
It-
yeah, you can
How do
ignore
I
those double
interpret
check
that?
marks, Derek, in GTO Wizard. It's a function of picking the correct frequency based on this RNG number here.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, okay. So that means like you're choosing to be more aggressive
Oh.
than normal, blah blah blah.
right.
That's what that means.
Yep.
Yeah. So like less than 50, maybe more check, more than 50 bet kind of thing.
It's the opposite. He's got his set to low numbers or aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah, low
Oh,
numbers
okay.
are aggressive.
Like-
Hmm.
Never even noticed different amount of check marks on
Yeah.
nodes.
Right, is
Okay.
it? Who's up?
Let's see.
Is
It's
it King
King.
or Skate? How many did you do, Skate?
Oh, Skate did 2, I think. Skate's got one more.
Okay.
But it's King.
So like in last hand on the turn, does solver have some traps there with the flushes? Is that where they're checking? Is that where we check the river some portion of the time? And population is not finding that,
It's got to be. It's got
That's
to
what
be.
I would think.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
It's still pretty tight in my mind, but
Okay, I am for sure checking this.
'Cause this is junk.
Yeah.
This is junk, and this is his board.
Picked up a gut shot.
What's that middle East European country called over there by Czechoslovakia?
I like it.
I'm
might-
on team. I'm on team bet now.
Yeah, I
I'm
might
with you on. I was
hear
with
it.
you on the flop. I'm not on team Skate on the turn.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah.
Well, because yeah, we're six-handed and we do have some of the 9 offsuit 9s, right? And well,
It's a draw.
not offsuit 9s, but
We have a draw.
plus the overs can't be ignored
Yeah.
here either.
oh, I see. We have a good shot to the 8. Yeah,
We have a gut shot and 2 overs. Right.
yeah, we have.
King high's just straight up ahead of a bunch of his range too.
True. Okay. Yeah. So we can bet the turn, and then we can check too, but we can bet. Yeah, I see that. Okay. Well, I mean, we have king high. There's no reason to bet. I think I'm on. Well, yeah, we check the turn, correct? Yeah. So let's just go ahead and check the river.
Okay. Before you hit check, against. So this King 10, I think, is low enough to not call it showdown value because it can get King Jack and King Queen to fold, and so that's good. And he can have King Jack and King Queen here. If you can get any aces to fold, that's good. But against population, I think this is not a great bet because the story it tells as a bluff is nothing. There's just
Right.
there are so few hands here that want to bet on the river that didn't bet on the flop or the turn. We bet our flush draws. We bet our 9s already. It's
That
just
is-
not believable. And I think that
Yeah.
I think you may find some hero call. I think they may find some hero calls. So in population, I'm gonna check this, but I think the solver might do some betting.
Really,
So
I'm
s-
kind of the opposite. I kind of bet this against population, and I'm more inclined to check versus solver here because
Okay.
it's just like when it goes check, I toss out 100% pot in game and get a fold 9 out of 10 times.
Because you're more scared of the check raise thing.
Good enough. All right.
No, more just like they're weak.
Yeah. He's-
Well, I mean, I just don't see any reason why. Well, as played, we checked, all the way through. They can call, solver might think about calling with some ace high, so I don't want to bet and face that. So Yeah,
I would think solver has more calls than population. That's how I think of it anyway. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong, but
so
I
that's
don't know
why.
about on this board, though. I think this board, that population is not statistics driven. Population is story driven, and our story
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense. But anyway,
Okay.
we're
Okay.
checking.
I see what you're saying. I play
I mean-
low stakes too, so it's
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
know that line works against weak opponents. It's
Also,
I
different.
play
by the way-
smallest stakes in the room, so.
Yeah. But I do want to say one thing though about when I say that solver is not story driven. Solver's statistics fit stories. You know, and when I say you wouldn't do this with this, solver picks that up because when it ran it all those times, you didn't do it. So the thing that I'm saying about narratives rolls over into the solver, but I think it's more prevalent in people's minds. Hit a check.
Yeah, I agree.
Skate, you said check, right?
The solver's never going to be
Yes.
emotional about a call. It's never going to be like, oh, he's bullshitting here.
So we're
No.
bluffing it, and we're bluffing it to get better kings to fold and aces to fold.
Hmm.
It doesn't have showdown value. That's what the solver said.
Okay.
And it bet, and it did 73%. And it was not going to work.
And you saved money, Skate.
You outplayed the solver by far.
Solver.
Read his soul. Good job, Skate.
Solver tried
you.
to trap you on every street.
Better than Phil Ivey.
Never let it do it. All right, you're up again.
I'm up. Okay. Queen 7-7 under the gun. Yeah, I like a bet. 1.8, 33%. I think you can mix to some frequency. Yeah. Okay.
And the 11 is why you have the double check mark there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Wait,
Even
what
though-
happened?
You won.
He folded.
Oh,
Folded
he
it.
folded. Oh, my mistake. Okay. All right, moving on. Under the gun. Yeah, I also like a bet here. What do I have? 33. Yeah, bet 33. 1.8.
I'm going at least half.
No, I said 1.8.
Yeah, I know. He's just
Yeah.
making an argument before he
Yeah, just my personal
Okay.
preference would be B50 minimum.
I can see sizing up,
Yep.
but it makes
Would-
more sense with the way I play to
Because
Yep.
draws,
bet
draw.
small.
And by the way, the reason it said check, even though it wasn't the thing, was it had such a high number on its die.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but you were not trying to do that.
Okay, so when I have position here, I am going to be continuing. In game, I go 100% this stacked up. I'm just deciding between. I kind of like the 125% here. I'm just looking at the 175. I kind of like the 125, bet 11.4.
Okay.
I like it too. I think there's going to be some 6-8, but I like the 125
Yeah.
today.
In
My
game,
choice
I tend to
would be-
fire exactly 100% pot in
Yeah,
this spot,
me
but I
too.
like the 125 better than the 75.
I think it's good. I would go B75 myself.
Yep.
And
They're both fine.
All over that,
Same
Both are
EV,
fine, yeah.
but no small.
negligible difference.
And the check, by the way, notice the 41% check. The reason it's got the double mark, not because it's the biggest one. I'm surprised at how much it checks this.
Yeah,
back.
me too. Big
But I
time.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. Especially on a double flush draw board.
Yeah, on the double flush draw.
Yeah, without a spade or a heart in our hand.
Yeah,
That's very
I don't want to do
surprising.
I like that bet.
It's a boring fold. All right, fair enough.
But you got him to fold, but he folded a gut shot. He had outs.
Yeah, I wanted to see a ace of hearts on the river and put me in a brutal spot, but fair enough. I
Well,
like
you're
those.
Queen of hearts. Okay.
Man, you're running like
Uh,
God here.
I know. Well, clearly, yeah, bet again, 33, 1.8.
Yep.
I mean, these are pretty easy nodes that they're giving me.
Yeah. And I guess, and since he has so little king, your queen is top pair.
Yeah, more or less. Absolutely. So in position, I continue. I like 125. Yeah, bet 11.4.
I think we're gonna
Okay.
get smaller sizing here because of the
Yep.
paired board.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. 75. Yeah. My immediate reflex is to bet 100% pot
What-
in this spot. But
why
seventy-
smaller
Spamming
size here?
chat. Somebody's spamming the chat.
What?
Our alpha feels strongly this is a check.
Yeah, no,
I would
check
like-
makes a lot of sense here too. In position, I definitely like checking because it's just I kind of drilled it out of my head, checking when I'm in position on turns when I have like a made hand that I want to see showdown with, just because it goes check check, and then I'm the one facing the crazy overbet on the river.
I wanna
or I'm the
face a
one
crazy
facing the
overbet.
100%.
I'm
Yeah, and it would be a call in over. Yeah, you're facing the overbet on the river. You would be calling with this here. So I do see where you're coming from.
Nice one,
Wow,
Steve.
pure check. Wow.
And
That's
I'll
surprising.
give you my argument later. I'll give you
Okay.
the argument later. Why it's
I
it's
can
such a
I can
good check.
I can kind of see where it comes from, but in position I still like a bet here.
That's fine. You did not break the solver. Oh, you know, you bet it.
Well, you
Just-
did break the solver.
Oh, he did. I thought he had 0.3. I thought he had a 1.3%.
It was less than a
Oh.
1% decision, but
I thought it was.
And-
I thought
It does.
was
It's
pure
fine.
bet.
We're on this node. That's fine.
okay,
We can't go
this
back.
is a check now. After 2 calls.
Yeah.
I'm checking.
Well, we checked. We did check. We changed it to check because I thought it broke the solver.
Okay.
So you did not make your overbet. I changed it.
Okay.
Right. Oh,
Can I
it
go
was an
back?
over bet that it didn't allow. It allowed a small bet. That's what it
Right.
was. Okay.
Oh,
Gotcha.
so you did the 75%. Okay.
No,
'Cause
no. King, I changed it to a check, which was I did not make it a bet.
you
Right.
check turn.
Because what happened was you bet large on the turn and it didn't
Yeah.
have large bets. So,
Can we-
so it couldn't go
it-
on.
Can we not go 75% instead? Because I really don't
We'll do
like
it. We'll
a
do
check.
it we can't do it in the trainer, but we'll go do it in the solve after you play.
Oh, okay,
River.
my
go
mistake.
back.
Yeah, no, because
But-
I'm definitely
play
betting
your river first.
75 or
Yeah.
100, and this river is a check. So
Yeah. Okay, so we check the river and then we'll go back and look at the solve.
okay, now I definitely
said-
prefer a 75% over the check on the turn.
Good.
Yeah, it's a check, river check.
Okay, good. All
Yeah.
right. So
Clear
now,
check on river.
now before we do our argument, let's go to the solve and give you that bet that you made. And
Yeah,
then
you see, in my mind, 75% and 125 are effectively the same. Like I'm not trying to be like overly polarized, taking a 125% line. I'm trying to just, get value with my strong holding. Not trying to say I have the absolute nuts.
Gotcha.
Just trying to get value from a strong holding here and in possession. Position is very key in these spots for me with these second pairs.
Right,
Strong
so
holding
now-
second pairs.
so now you're gonna do the 75, right? That's what you
Yeah.
want? Okay, we go 75. The solver,
Which
yeah,
also is
break the bet.
0%. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Fair
It
enough.
only allows a small bet. Okay,
Okay.
so now that we know that, here's my argument on the turn, because I was rather emphatic. So on the flop, it makes total sense to me. You look at this and you go, kings are a very small part of his range. So ace queen is effectively top pair with top kicker. So we can bet it. I totally buy that.
Mhm.
Once he calls, his range is now filtered such that kings are not a small part of his range anymore.
Mhm.
So now he has kings, queens, and sevens. All right.
Yeah.
We beat his queens, we lose to his sevens, we lose to his kings.
Yeah.
Check. We
No, that's a
become-
really good point, and I actually don't give him a ton of credit for kings, and we're blocking queens, so that gives him a lot of that weights his range towards 7x, which makes the
Right.
Argument for the
Right.
Mhm.
check. So yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you, 100%.
There's no flush draw on the board to start with. So yes, he's a solver. He continues with some backdoor flushes, but less than if there was a pure flush on the board. So what's his draws he's calling with? Okay, so he's got Broadway draws that he calls with. Ace jack. He's definitely got 10 jack in his range.
Mhm.
Yeah, 10 jack, you're blocking ace 10.
Ace jack should be in there too, even though we're
Yeah, but we
blocking.
block those. So we push him to the 10 jack. So even as a draw, the draw has a lot of equity. Yes, you get value from betting it, but I think that you're just overwhelmed that his funneled range can no longer make the claim that he has few kings. His funneled range has kings, queens, and sevens, and we're beating his queens. Check.
We're blocking
Yeah.
some of the draws, which leads me to believe he's going to have some kings. Of course, he could have the 7 there, so you're not getting worse to call and better to fold, so check.
I think that's a good analysis.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you have another hand, King?
Scotty.
Yeah.
So I
Again,
just wanted to throw this out here. I don't understand the concept of they don't have any kings. Because they do.
it's not that they don't have any, but
No, I know that they're not gonna have the stronger part of the
Suited
king's
kings.
range, but they've got all of the suited kings. They've even got ace king off. They've got king queen off, king jack off.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
let's
it's in
look,
there
I mean,
too. That makes
we can,
that
let's
What
look
I
at
mean
this. I
is-
mean, let's go to Sol.
Yeah.
And then let's go to range versus range on flop.
you are right, and that makes the argument for checking turn even stronger. So that's not to be glossed over.
So here's the word version of it. Yes, he has kings, but when you look at it and you see aces, he calls with lots and he calls with more aces than kings. He has, so our range, we have more kings and better kings than he does. So a king is generally good for our range. Not that he has no kings, but as a percentage, he's got all that other suited stuff down there. So we can't say he has few aces, but we can say he has few kings. And so that lets us squeeze in this queen, second pair becomes more closer to top pair in this world. I overstated he has no kings to simplify my language. But I still go with the idea that we cannot look at a board and say he has no aces when we don't have an ace. And we go, yeah, but he has no aces, so we can bet all ace high boards. No, you can't.
Correct.
King high boards are definitely better for us.
King high boards are better for
frequency.
us. We bluff more on a king high board, more kings on a king high board.
I don't give him much credit for an ace either.
But
Though.
let's
Like
let's
it's
drill
in there,
down a little
but
bit. Mike, if you go to big blind, like the big blind note here, right after the flop,
I think he's more likely to have an ace than a king.
and then
Yes.
filter for, and then go to range versus range. Okay, now so let's start
no.
off. He's got 215 combos. We've got 193. Now let's filter for just top pair. So yeah, just click on top pair. Okay, so we do have more kings, right? So we have, as well, the two numbers you see there are as a percentage of range. And then the big number is absolute combos, and the smaller percentage number as percentage of range.
We have twice as many kings in both cases.
Yeah, so this is the argument. And this is what we see often, right? You'll see this with king high boards are often what we bet with a larger part of our range, which is why, and this is why.
Now take a look at it before we've done our bet, because remember this is our range before we've bet, right?
Yeah, this is just
We're not
after
gonna
flop
filter it off,
before
right.
any action.
Yeah, good. So so this is what I mean by kings. Now go to aces, go to an, can it give us an ace high? Yeah. Click on ace high in your options there. And now let's compare our ace highs in our percentages.
So you want to go back to ranges.
Right. We have the better aces, but
There's something I don't understand about how this counts combos as well. I was hoping somebody could answer.
Right. So
answer
we've
for-
got-
that's in the
we've got 33% more aces. We've got 100%. I'm sorry, we got 50% more aces than him. We have 100% more kings than him.
Yeah, so the king boards are advantageous for us in position.
So that's what I meant. But once we filter, once we bet and he calls, so let's look at that. You'll see that goes away. And then you add in the fact that all of his sevens got promoted.
No, that was sharp to find the check so quickly, just because
Yeah.
a lot of the time you're going to be taking the continuation line, but on this exact board with his exact range interaction.
Yeah.
yeah, you're blocking the queens. It's very heavily weighted towards sevens and kings at that point, even though he doesn't have
So-
a lot of kings. And
So Mike, could you go back to big blind
makes
decision
a lot of
tree here?
sense.
And then you go back to range and use the same filtering tool with top pair. Yeah, now he still has less, but he's got,
Now he's got a third, now he's got, before he had half of what we have, now he has 2/3 of what we have.
because his range is now filtered.
Oh, no, wait, no, it's percentages. No, he's got a higher percent. He's got fewer combos, but he's got 30%, we've got 25%.
Yeah, that's a very good way. I think, yeah, I don't know which is a more important number, really, absolute number or
Percent.
the percentage of range. I guess
Definitely
they
the
both
percent.
have their
Think
both.
percent.
The percent is everything here because you're talking about how often are you beat. So that's the percent.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
It's-
That makes
it's
sense.
all percents here.
That makes sense.
Right. And now look at his percent of sevens, which is, look at his trips, and you're gonna see that he just destroys us in trips.
You probably have to delete X top, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, he destroys us, which
Four
is why,
times.
which drives our checks.
Yeah.
It's 6% of his range and we only have 1% of the scenario.
I have tweeps.
It's more than, yeah, he has more than 5 times as many as we do. More than 5 times as many.
So this drives your emphatic argument for a check on,
Yes.
which makes total sense. But I think it's really good to see it this way because it's kind of theoretical when we see all the checks, but then when we drill down and understand range versus range, it kind of makes more sense. At least for me, it does.
So does
I agree.
does that answer the king, does that answer the king argument for you, Mike?
Yeah, no, I definitely was not advocating for a different strategy. I was just
No.
I think you're right. You just oversimplified the
Yes.
language and say
Yeah, I
there
said he
aren't
never had a
kings.
king.
That's not what you meant. Yeah.
No, and you make a good point too, Mike, because like sometimes I'm looking at a range and it's like, okay, yeah, no, it's very, very unlikely he has a king, but it like it's not negligible. It's in there, you know?
Right. And once it's on the flop when you can say it. And again, yeah, the language he has no kings is like when you have ace king, you say you can't have aces or kings, I block them. It's like, of course you can have aces or kings.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just that I cut the number in half. So I make
No, and
my
I think this is a really, really good exercise. This exact board for all the points that you made, Scotty, about like once the 7 comes in here, well, like as a function of what our combo is blocking, what he's calling with this king, what he's holding with all of this 7x. I think that makes a really, really good argument for a turn check. And it's sort of like default line is to continue on turn, but like you'll just dig into the theory a little bit and the turn check makes a lot of sense for everything that you talked about. So
right. Back to this. I think you have one more hand to play.
Should we go to marked hands after that?
Oh no, I want to play.
Let me get
Okay.
the next hand.
I promise I'll go fast.
yeah, did
Come
we
on.
not resolve this hand?
Yeah, we did. I
We
went
did.
back
Okay.
to it to give you that turn
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. I thought you guys were waiting for
Yeah.
a decision from me there.
Here you go. You got one coming now.
Okay, check. Yeah, if I'm betting large. Polarized, but I like a check here.
I think we don't get big bets on this because there's lockdown equity
Right.
and
Okay,
and the nut advantage is very much with, I think it's very much with big blind here, even though we've got some wheels.
well, yeah, and that's what I was expecting. We would have a much higher, I was expecting check would be the preferred action from solver.
We have ace
They
five.
have all the sets. We have none of the sets.
Right.
Over pairs.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Right. He has 5,
Yeah.
6. We have 5, 6 at a lower frequency. We both have ace 5 suited. He might have it at a little lower frequency because he does some 3 betting with it.
All
But
that
his-
being said, I still really like the check.
Yep.
Not
Check
not
is
really
okay.
looking for a big
No
excuse
solver
to
break.
bet large here. Okay, so big blind has a ton of 5x here. This is a we've got the ace x. I think it's a pretty clear check. I'm not really looking to get too out of line here. I mean, theoretically, I guess you could, but I don't really think this is the spot.
It
Yeah.
is.
So
Like,
Slaughter must be more enamored with the ace and our better kickers with an ace X than it is with the wheel.
yeah, like I
Four-liner.
know why it's doing it, but it's just like, really, this is the spot you're gonna pick, you know?
Yeah, I would think it's a bad looking board, right?
Yeah, like really, Solver? WTF?
Yeah, kind of, kind of.
But you didn't break it.
Yep.
No, he tosses just fold. I mean, I had my tail between my legs from the beginning in this hand, but that's kind of the line that I chose, so. Yeah,
Oh,
No,
yeah.
doesn't believe you.
finds the raise as well.
Wants
Nice.
to win his hand.
I kind of played that one passively, but I mean, again, it's just like, why pick this spot when it's so dangerous for you?
Because he wants to, because we want to win the hand.
It's good. Okay, nice. I'll do
Perfect.
that. I'll do that in a PKO all day long. In Solverland, I'm a little more cautious, but
Just one word before you play the next one. When you say the Insolverland, Solverland finds all the bluffs.
true,
Therefore- Okay,
Yeah.
go on.
true. Pretty clear check, in my opinion. That's kind of shocking that it chooses to bet small too without a spade on this very low board, which smashes the big blind range. That makes no sense to me.
Well, what makes sense to you is that the bet is a small bet. That's the one part that should make sense. On a flush draw board, on a flush board, our
Yeah.
bets are really small. Why
Yeah,
we're
but
betting this combo, that should break your brain.
Yeah,
But
okay,
we
so
decide to
that's
bet it.
why I was gonna say, like, why bet at that point?
Yep,
Yeah.
that should break your brain.
Well, this is my why. I might be wrong, Scotty or Joey. If you always, if you only, if you, if you check the flop 100% when you don't have a spade, and then, you know, if you only bet when you have a spade and you check when you don't, then that makes you easier to play against.
Well, it's not that I don't have a spade. It's the fact I don't have a spade, but also how low the high card is. It's an 8 high board.
Yeah,
Which
Yeah.
is very difficult for the under the gun range to have interacted with.
yeah,
So
you don't
that's
have a
why I'm
spade,
not
you don't have anything.
crazy about betting. All of that being said, I'm looking at a call here,
Right.
because I'm ahead of a lot of his range. Like, I mean, if you look at his combos,
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy to call a bet here.
Okay.
I don't really. You
I'm
could
folding.
raise it, but I kind of like a call.
I'm just gonna fold here. And
Yep.
Skate, by the way, you don't need to apologize to me and Joey. You can apologize to everybody. Okay,
Yeah, I'm just kind of happy with where my hand is sitting against his range on this board, and especially if it goes check on river, I can fire out a fat bet and get a fold. Yeah, bet 100% pot is my immediate reflex. Bet 12, 132.
I think you can do it with 5.5.
Okay. Oh, sharp. Nice.
We're trying to get folds from, we're not trying to get pairs to fold here. We're just trying to get a king and an ace to fold.
Okay, yeah, and that 5.5 would do it. Okay, I see. Should king highs not call versus a 5.5 bet though? King queen? King queen with the king of
We're gonna-
spades or the queen of spades?
I don't know, hit 5.5, see what he folds.
Yeah, I'm very curious what his unmade, or his ace X or his.
Pair.
What?
He folded a pair, so a king is folding. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Does.
That answers it. Okay, cool.
All right, I'm gonna run 3 and then we will do marked hands.
Sweet.
Okay. Here we go. This is second pair. This would be marginally made, would be what we would consider it, but he has fewer kings than us. So some queens get promoted. Ace queen does. King queen is already 2 pairs. So the queen jack, I'm still gonna bet it. I'm gonna bet I'm gonna bet large because this is a king, queen, deuce board. So this is my large bet boards. And so I'm gonna bet 75 on this one. And I'm wrong. It's a
I was
small,
gonna-
my hand can't support it, but at least I got the bet right.
I was going in here because we just saw it, right? We just saw that board, but our hand.
Oh, we
was-
didn't see,
class was a little
we
different.
saw that the large was not 75. Okay, good enough. I lose points, but I don't break the solver. All right. He folded what I wanted him to fold because he hit his ace on the turn. Great.
This is an interesting spot.
Right. This is his board, not my board. There's locked up equity. I cannot bet large. This hand is the best hand right now, and it is vulnerable, and it has a straight draw. So I'm going to bet it on its vulnerability. I would love to see a 7. I would hate to see a 9, 10, jack, queen, king, ace on the next turn. So that's why I'm not checking it. Bet 1.8.
I actually don't mind it because you're double blocking the straight here, and he's not gonna have many of the 2, 3
And he's not gonna. That's true.
only suited.
That's true. It's
like
You're
it.
getting,
actually
you're
that I
getting,
blocked the hell out of.
I like it. I like it.
you're getting check raised.
Oh man.
I'm not folding. I block it. I'm calling. I am sorry, my friends. I am calling.
Yep.
Yep.
Look at the shove.
Yep. Fine.
Boom.
Wow. And he's checked
This is
so
really
easily.
good for me and really bad for me both. It is a 4-liner. The only card I don't want to see on the river is a 7. There's no other card that bothers me. Guess a 3 would good. I don't think I need to turn a set into a bluff. I think I have an easy call on the river against the 4-liner. And all the money is not going in if he doesn't have it. So I'm going to check this. I'm going to check my very strong hand here, and I'm going to bet the river.
Are they checking back some portion of 7s on a monotone on a rainbow board?
They might be going for a check raise, but
Yeah.
I'm also inducing. I'm also checking to induce.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with this.
I like it.
I'm calling. I mean, now he doesn't bet. So now I want to get value from something. Neither of us has a 7, so I'm going to represent it as a 7. I'm not betting less than 86. And between 86 and 150, I need to get called. And there just isn't that much strength, I can't say I want to go big to get called by his pocket 6s when he has a set, because he didn't play it like that. So 86.
I like 60.
I don't mind.
Fold.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice. Mostly 86.
Now you hold your breath.
Hold
and don't
on.
check jam.
Yeah.
No,
Nope.
just folds. What does he fold? He folds a pair. He was done with the hand,
Well played.
except for my initial sizing, which I should have known better. But because of my initial sizing, I made more money.
True.
Because his check raise was big. Okay, why am I analyzing this? I'm just checking. I don't have to think any farther. I'm just checking.
Me too.
All right. So against the solver and in front of my friends, I'm still checking on it being marginally made. But in the actual game, when no one is looking, and I think I don't need to show you guys these hands, do I ever bet this? Yeah, I do. I do bet this. I do bet this on just pure red line. But I think it is a mistake. So I'm going to check. But when I bet it, I bet 75 at this pot.
You trying to get a
agree.
better king or ace to fold,
Exactly.
or
I
maybe
just- I just- and deny equity on the turn. I don't see the king as particular showdown value, and I invite him to bluff me off it, which he's going to succeed to on the river. So I do bet this very often, but check is better. And my size was the right size when I bet.
Yeah, no, I like a bet there.
I'm really happy with everything about this hand right now.
I prefer to bet.
Come on, check. I just fold.
I think to the sizing we might have some raises, right? Just like the last hand. But
Yeah, you
Might be right.
You might.
I mean, do we
I
block?
still like a
We have to
fold,
block the
but-
nuts. Well, what is the nuts? The
Yeah.
nuts is the wheel.
yeah,
Ace 3, 3,
I
6.
think we'd have to have an ace to block the wheel. We want to block value.
Yeah.
If we're
right.
gonna bluff this.
And like
Probably
he
need
bet
at
on
least
definitely
a
wanna
queen
block
or a
the
jack.
nuts.
he bet on
Yeah.
the queen too, but
Got a lot of folds. And when we raise to try to bluff it, it's 50%. We
it's not
raise,
winning. It's not winning nothing, right?
and is he gonna fold? What did he bluff me? No, he's not folding Jack 10.
He's not folding it.
All right, good. And this is my last one. I will be betting this big. And I'm going to say that big is 75. But I'm sure there's gonna be some 50s in there, and obviously 33 will show up, but I'm gonna go the 75. Are we over betting it?
I bet 33 in
Right.
game.
33 is fine. I'm gonna bet 75.
Yep,
I
I
think
would
this-
take
I think
50
this is gonna be-
minimum. I would take 50 minimum, 75 if the,
Yep. There are
Is
no
that-
over bets.
It's all allowed.
The 33 is the most common, but everything's fine and I'm fine with having found the big bet here. I'm happy. And his fold is irrelevant. It didn't matter what I bet. Okay, those are my three.
Sweet.
WP, sir.
Martins?
Sure.